In the suburbs of Milwaukee, the
No, they're not even playing it. They don't give a fuck.
But that was just the beginning.
You can watch it without logging on the website.
Roe versus Wade, leaving the legality of abortion up to the states. In Wisconsin, that meant a nearly total ban.
Wait, were people just cheering when they were showing the lady from the Handmaid's Tale there?
The new thin liberal majority on the court could have that abortion issue before it again, just as the race for the White House accelerates.
Well, this is what we got.
Tonight, the
I think it's
Republican
fine. Candidates
will face off.
It's definitely not like, 1080p, but
To return next July to this city on the shore of Lake
yeah, I'm looking forward to this debate. I'm bummed that Trump isn't here though. But yeah, Trump is going to be doing a interview on Tucker Carlson, a pre-recorded interview on Tucker Carlson. We're in Wisconsin, baby. This graphic reminds me of Fox Sports. I mean, it's still Fox, but it reminds me of like Fox Sports for like NFL.
Welcome to the first debate of the 2024 presidential campaign, live at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee.
Is it Pfizer Forum, like the company Pfizer? That's so funny.
On our debate stage tonight, they are here to lay out their vision for America. The battle as they battle.
Nikki Haley has the
nomination.
Ice Queen dress on.
I'm Martha McCallum.
And I'm Brett Baer. This is the very same stage on
God,
which
look at all these
the
white
Republican
people
choice
on.
for president will accept
There's so
the
many.
party's nomination next summer. The 8 contenders are positioned by the order they sit in the polls, with the highest polling candidates in the middle standing center stage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, at least the closed captions are good. He can't even smile right, dude.
Former Vice President Mike Pence.
Oh, he did not get as many cheers.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
They booed him. They booed Christie. Are you kidding?
Asa Hutchinson.
And North Dakota Governor
Oh.
Doug Burgum.
Damn, there's like a crowd of people who are just specifically booing.
The rules for tonight, we'll ask the questions, and then candidates get 1 minute to answer. If someone is singled out, you get 30 seconds to respond. And when the time runs out,
I'm going to be a good streamer, and I'm going to take notes.
Very pleasant.
So tonight, these candidates have a big opportunity to break out of the pack and to explain why they are best prepared to be the Republican choice for president. At a time when the likely Democrat nominee, President Joe Biden, is working to convince the country that with Bidenomics, things are looking up.
They call my plan Bidenomics.
What? They're showing clips? What is this?
Complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
But is it?
What is,
more than 65%.
Wow, I've never seen a debate where they show a clip of the president or whatever they're talking about doing a clip like that. That's crazy.
We have noticed a dramatic increase in prices at the grocery store.
Wow, this is very multimedia of them.
And food is high. A lot of people out here homeless because they can't buy food.
It's tough when you got mortgage rates at 7-8% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford the house anymore.
Inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
And how many of them actually vote Republican, though? All the people they showed.
Is called Rich Men North of Richmond.
Oh my God.
From Farmville, Virginia, named Oliver Anthony.
Bring in this guy?
Of alienation, of deep frustration.
Yeah, alienation because it's fucking capitalism. That's what it is. Literally, Karl Marx wrote about it.
Is about 100 miles
so many other people have written about that shit. And then like a recent interview. This is so awkward. And it's funny as they showed. There was a clip of him recently where they're trying to make him, because he talked about like how like he thinks it's awesome that America's a melting pot, and they're basically like, they were trying to like get him to say something racist, and he didn't.
Striking such a nerve in this country right now. What do you think it means?
This guy was.
Our country is in decline.
He was an AstroTurf
This decline is
artist.
not inevitable. It's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline. And it starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed as a country if you are working hard and
Reverse
you can't afford
Bidenomics.
groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on
There it is.
lousy paintings. That is wrong. We also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices.
But isn't that like Northerners?
All energy production. We will be energy dominant.
Isn't that song supposed to be about, like, that title is supposed to be talking about Northerners?
In the state of Florida, I pledge to you as your president, we will get
The Northmen
job
north of
done,
Richmond,
and
I'm
I
pretty
will
sure
not
is
let
like
you down.
a reference to the Civil War.
Thank you. Governor Christie, do you agree with Governor DeSantis just said there? And why would you be better on the economy than him?
Well, look, I do agree predominantly with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. And I think that if you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas. And we able to be able to put ourselves in a position where we get a majority of the vote.
Because we have no ideas
the Congress
besides
and the Senate in
trickle-down
2024,
economics.
but also by having someone who's had the experience of doing it. Now, I was elected as a conservative Republican in a blue state with 61% of the vote, with a Democratic legislature against me the entire time. And we still, through hard,
Are those elephants on his
strong
tie?
decision-making, brought them around to our point of view.
Holding
we
a
cut
flag?
taxes in New Jersey. We cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad Democratic ideas, we stood and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people are not allowed to spend on their children and their grandchildren. It's robbing our country, and it's wrong.
Well, Governor,
You got to get better at
follow up
marketing the
quickly.
marketing of
New
marketing
Jersey,
ideas. Right,
when you were
exactly.
governor, had the second lowest credit rating in the nation after
isn't that
Illinois,
just
and it was downgraded 11 times.
like most of
Yep.
campaign management?
Yeah,
It's just
and
marketing.
that's what happens when you inherit.
Even if you're
a blue
saying crazy
state
shit,
that
just
has
you
done
market
that.
it well.
But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by 3 Democratic gubernatorial predecessors of mine who ran up that debt tremendously. And what you also saw us do was to cut the unemployment rate in half. It was over 10% when I became governor in 2010. What we also did was cut pension.
I'm glad they
payments
have closed
to public
captionings, but I can't make it any bigger.
to make
It's
sure
so
that
small.
taxpayers were not being soaked by a public employee union system that was killing the taxpayer.
Thank you, Governor.
Excuse me.
Governor Scott,
They have
Tim
a little
Scott,
bell to
Senator
cut
Scott,
people
excuse
off?
me. The song also goes after welfare programs. As a senator, now President
Yeah, that was the big
Biden
issue with that
argued
song for a lot of
freezing
people,
federal
and for me
spending,
as
this
well,
was
is
back
that
in the 80s, and
he
dealing
called
with
people
sacred
who are on
cows.
welfare
He does not
fat,
talk about that
basically.
anymore.
The
You've
first
been
part of that
senator,
song
though,
is
for
like
10
pretty
years.
based,
So what
actually,
have
but
you done to rein in the
But it was an
increasing
AstroTurf
size
song.
of government?
Well, thank you for the question. Over the last several years, I've had an opportunity to vote against spending package after spending package after spending package. What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%, your food is up 20%, your electricity is up 20%. We can stop that by turning the spigot off at Washington, sending the money back to the states, and allowing the decisions to be made at their own houses. I helped write the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017. We cut taxes for a single mom like the one that raised me by 70%, for dual households by 60%, returning to the average family $4,000. If you don't send it to Washington, we can't spend it. That's good news for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did, during the Trump administration, you approved $4.4 trillion, $4.1 trillion, $1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the Trump administration, when we were dealing with the COVID virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end.
Isn't that more of a critique of Trump then than him?
We had low unemployment, record low unemployments, 3.5% for the majority of the population, 70-year low for women. African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians had an all-time low. But our inflation
not the band, don't get confused.
Under Joe Biden, we've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation explode, which led to 12 Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home buyers today.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you're listening to these answers.
If I may,
hold on one second.
We're going to, so I don't know if I get a chance to respond.
He didn't mention you specifically, but we'll be with you in a second, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Ramaswamy,
Pence wants to get on the offensive tonight.
Why should voters choose you over more experienced politicians on this stage? You're basically, a blank slate for people. You're 38 years old. You've said that you only voted in 2 presidential elections before this moment.
And remember, this is
So first, let me just address a question that is on everybody's mind at home tonight.
He voted
who the heck is this
for 2. He's voted twice, and he's 35 or whatever. It's funny is he wants to raise the voting age to 25, and the only way you can vote if you're under 25 is if you join the military.
No money 40 years ago. I have gone on to found.
I missed earlier who you thought the favorite is. I think it's Ramaswamy's here. He's been hot in the news right now.
Following our faith in God, that is the American dream.
And he's young.
I am genuinely worried that American dream.
He's anti-woke,
you know. Two sons and their generation,
so far he's found that balance between the culture war shit. He finds the balance between the culture war shit and the being kind of a politician, if that makes sense.
Our vision of what it means to be an American.
And he has charisma. We know charisma wins you debates. We know this. We watched all the presidential debates.
Over to a new generation to actually fix the problem. That's why I'm in this race, and we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, he'll make it sound reasonable because he has charisma, but then he'll say shit like, "Yeah, we should not allow people to vote if they're under 25," even though I was able to.
Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur nationally right now, he's beating you.
He wants to get rid of the Department of Education.
I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt. And Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt. And our kids are never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget.
But who gave you your job, Nikki? Wasn't it Trump?
Billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice President Pence. You were mentioned there. 54% of voters say the cost of groceries is a, quote, major problem for them.
Right.
You blamed the Biden administration spending for that increase. But as vice president, your administration spent more than any prior, $7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID. So does that
His
mean
first
that
reaction there is like, oh shit, was it that bad?
Well, first off, thanks for the question. Thanks for letting me respond.
I'm delaying because I don't have an answer.
I'm incredibly proud of the record of the Trump-Pence administration. I mean, in 4 short years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We unleashed American energy. And we appointed 3 conservatives to the Supreme Court that gave the American people a new beginning for the right to life. Now, Martha, you asked earlier who's the most best prepared for this job. And I must tell you, with all due respect to all of my friends on the stage, and even the one that's probably looking on, I think unquestionably I am the best prepared, the most tested, the most qualified and proven conservative in this race. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States. I led Indiana where we balanced budgets and had a AAA bond rating when I was governor. And as Vice President of the United States, we spent funding to backfill on the the military cuts of the Obama administration, and then we were there in the worst pandemic in 100 years. All that being said, I was the first person in this race to say that we've got to deal with the long-term national debt issues. You got people on this stage that won't even talk about issues like Social Security and Medicare. I mean, Vivek, you recently said a president can't do everything. Well, I got news for you, Vivek. I've been in the hallway. I've been in the West Wing. A president of the United States has to confront every crisis facing America. I will put our nation back on the path to growth and prosperity and restore fiscal
That's cool that he said that.
Just as I did in
but
Congress and as governor.
Mr. Vice President.
But everyone's going to associate you with COVID and that mismanagement. Even conservatives. Because there's conservatives who didn't want to go at any sort of lockdown.
Guys, unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear.
Oh my fucking God.
By no longer paying them more to
That's the first wild statement.
Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a U.S. president can do with focus, and I'll deliver on it.
Well, let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you, Vivek, if I can. I'll go slower this time.
Damn.
I sometimes struggle with the reading comprehension.
Look, I was a House conservative leader before it was cool. I actually pushed a deficit reduction act that was the last.
He used to own a radio show when he was younger.
In the United States,
conservative radio
I was the
show.
Leader of House conservatives. I balanced budgets
random
cut
thought.
taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the
burn
time
frack nuclear, baby.
We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience. We need to bring
It's 30 seconds when you have a rebuttal, okay? And you are up, Governor DeSantis.
So here's the thing. Why are we in this mess? Part of it, and a major reason, is because how this federal government
Pence is on the offensive. I was not expecting that, to be honest.
This economy. It was a mistake. It should have never happened. And in Florida, we led the country out of lockdown. We kept our
yeah, and so many people died.
And I can tell you this, as your president, I will never let the deep state bureaucrats lock you down. You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him. You bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired.
He's trying to be Trump. He's trying to be Trump. You are fired.
I just want to respond to Mike for 1 second because he invoked me back. Listen, now that everybody's gotten their memorized, pre-prepared slogans out of the way, we can actually have a real discussion now.
There it is. There it is.
Was that one of yours?
Oh!
Actually, we're just going to have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a bunch
it's
of
like a grandpa talking shit to his grandson. I fucking love it. That's the energy I'm getting.
Last week, the real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth? Do you want incremental reform?
He's using the word patriot. Oh, I hate that word, dude.
Okay, and I stand on the side of the American Revolution.
We're going to take control back here.
We need everyone to have a moment.
Yeah, he's obsessed with the American Revolution. Does he not know
People who have not, we're going to get back to that.
that all the people in the Revolutionary wouldn't like you because you're not white? I don't.
Great, thank you, Martha. And of course, I'm
why does he keep bringing it up?
People, it's a big deal to make it on this stage.
Well, I know
these
why.
Folks. But
he's trying to get those hell yeah, brother voters. You know what I mean?
But when they were all wishing me well, and I think I took.
See, that's the difference.
When they said go to Milwaukee.
Ramaswamy is just as extreme so far
But I do
as DeSantis, but DeSantis can't like say it well.
Can't just talk about the
he just sounds so like just real bland.
Security are all tied together. Of course we're paying too much for our energy.
I'm hating them both, by the way, but just
in our country right now.
If you're gonna win in debates, you got to be able to
why is because the Biden
talk
policies
well.
on energy. We've got a plan right now, the $1.2 trillion of Green New Deal spending buried in the Inflation Creation
There's no Green
Act
New Deal.
Is something that is
I wish.
subsidizing
I
China.
wish.
If we're going to stop buying oil from the Middle East and start buying batteries
so crazy
from China,
that
we're just trading OPEC
who's
for
this guy?
Sinopec. And then belatedly,
This is fuck, what's his name?
The Biden administration says no, we're going to put sanctions on Russian oil.
Burgum?
Well, we put sanctions on Russian oil. Well, then it's 20% 20% off. Who's buying it? China.
Yeah,
So
Burgum.
if you buy a battery
Burgum.
in this country, you buy a
Burgum.
solar panel, it's being produced in a plant in China powered by coal, or it's being powered by oil and gas at 20%
He's
off.
a bill.
Every
He's
farmer
our
in this
one
country would like
billionaire
to
in the
buy
race.
diesel at 20% off, just like they're buying it in China.
Governor Hutchinson, quickly.
All right, yeah, let's get Hutchinson in here.
Thank you, Grant. Delighted to be here tonight. And let me just tell you that I'm a pro-life governor from a conservative state that have a conservative record in which I lowered taxes in Arkansas as governor. I created a $2 billion surplus that I passed over to my successor. And
He's like, I'm not going to talk
sure
much
that we
tonight,
shrunk
so I might
the
as well just
size of
introduce
government.
myself.
We have
I don't think it's a
14%
terrible
fewer
tactic.
State employees in Arkansas.
Do you know you were probably
after
only
I
talking
left
3
government
times in
when
the
I
night?
took over as governor 8 years ago. I tell that because that's what we need in Washington, D.C. We need somebody who can actually constrain the growth of the federal government, that can actually reduce the size, and I've pledged to reduce by 10% our federal non-defense workforce. That's a specific pledge to make that attacks.
Am I crazy, or is all the lighting make it look like he has like dirty hands, like coal, like he put his hand in like coal or something? Doesn't it? Like I know it doesn't probably look like that, but like the lighting and the color grading on this stream makes his hands look like they've. He put his hand in the coal, and no pun intended with the coal joke, but
that can lead with positive solutions to be held accountable.
Thank you. We have
It's
a
like
lot of
the
topics to get to, and I promise we're going to get to
shadows
everyone
just
if
look
we play
weird.
within the rules. Okay, next topic. More than 1,000 people are still unaccounted for in Maui after the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century.
Yeah, I wonder why they. What's
and
the
White House
deadliest?
officials said that climate change
Here it is.
amplified the cost of.
It ain't real.
And a tropical storm.
It was a
hit
China
California
space
for the
laser.
First time in 84 years. The ocean hit 101 degrees off the coast of Florida. And in the last month, the heat wave in the Southwest broke records nearly 50 years old.
So Alexander
It's
Diaz
China.
from Young America's Foundation. has
Someone's
a
gonna
question.
say it.
Polls consistently show that young people's #1 issue is climate
Jesus
change.
Christ.
How will you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party,
Thank you for the
calm their
35 months,
fears that the
Carol.
Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
So we want to start on this with
Fucking A.
a show of hands. Do you believe
How's it going?
in
Reality
human
TV is
behavior
back.
is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you do.
Look, we're not school children. Let's have the debate. I mean, I'm
No,
happy to
raise your
take it to
hands.
start. Alexander,
So do you want to raise your hand or not?
Let's have the debate. Debate the
that's the way
fucking
to do
kid.
it. So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said,
And Trump's
no
on a golf
comment.
course. Who
Are
gives
you
a
kidding
fuck?
me? As somebody
I'm
that's handled
not even
disasters
trying to defend
before,
Biden,
you
but
gotta
every
be
fucking
activated.
president
You gotta be there.
has
You got to be present. You got to be helping people.
has sat somewhere when they should be somewhere else. Whatever. I don't fucking care.
Yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No,
because
no,
the
I
climate
didn't
change
raise-
agenda
I
is
didn't
a
raise a
hoax. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the
Yeah,
only person
Ryro.
on
They're
stage who isn't bought
that's
and paid for, so I
yeah.
can say this.
That's their name is basically that. Yeah.
The climate change agenda is a hoax, and we have to
Boo! Boo!
The anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy.
Burn
And so the
frack
reality is
nuclear.
More people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual.
I'm telling you, this guy fucking scares me the most. He has the charisma to say the craziest shit.
Hold on.
No, Jarek, we just started like 20 minutes ago.
Of a guy who
You're right on time,
sounds
if
like
anything.
ChatGPT standing up here.
Oh! He called him ChatGPT.
Person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Oh! He called him Obama.
Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me
Oh.
just like you did to Obama too. Give me that bear hug.
Yeah, we're cheering for Chris Christie. He's our only hope in this party.
Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you
So,
bought and
Brett,
paid
what
for?
I would like to say is the fact
As
that
a brown
I
man myself, I say he has
this
the
is
race card
exactly
too.
why Margaret
He's
Thatcher
been hot
said,
in the
if you want
news.
something said, ask a man. If
I
you
think
want
it's only
something done,
negative for
ask a
him.
woman.
I think it's the negative for him.
First of all,
is that he's running in a racist
clean
party.
air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all, yes, is climate change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to go and really change the environment,
Yeah, that was
then
subtly
we need to
racist.
start
You're right,
telling
though.
China and India that they have to lower their emissions.
With Chris Christie, I get what he was trying. He was trying to compare him to like Obama in the sense of like that Obama was young and like over his head with big ideas. I think that's what he was trying to do, but I could see how it could come across as racist.
Vehicles are made in China, and so that's not helping.
But we
the
are cheering for
environment.
Chris Christie
You're
here.
putting money in China's pocket
Because he's the most
and Biden
moderate
did
of this
that.
entire
So,
group.
First of all, I think we need to acknowledge the truth, which is these subsidies are not working. We also need to take on the international world and say, okay, India.
I mean,
and
I'll
China,
take your
you've
word
gotta
for it.
stop
I'll take
polluting,
your
and
word for
that's
it.
when we'll start to deal with
Senator Scott, are you bought and paid for?
Absolutely.
Are you bought and paid
On Amy Golden, hey,
Are you bought and
see,
paid
I don't,
Absolutely not.
I don't know this
here's what
shit
the American
as a
people
white dude.
deserve is a debate about the issues that affect their lives. Going back and forth being childish is not helpful to the American people to decide on the next leader of our country. Number one.
Yeah, wait, I need a.
Number two, as a kid who grew up in a
What was I gonna say?
household mired in poverty.
This is why we need, like, yeah, we need fact
was the
checkers in the
American
chat, you know?
dream real for kids
We'll be
who
like,
are
yeah, that is
devastated
racist.
by poverty, devastated by the challenges of life. I came to the conclusion that America can do for anyone what she's done for me if we focus on restoring hope.
Yeah,
creating
Jarek, you missed
opportunities, and
when
protecting
Ramaswamy
America. If
he
we want the environment to be better, and we all
he said he has so
the
far
best
as the
thing to do
craziest
is
line
to
where he
bring
says
our
we need to
jobs
burn, we need to
home
frack,
from
and we need to
China.
get into
If we
nuclear.
create 10 million new jobs in my Made in America plan, we will have a better economy and a better environment. Let me tell you why I say that, Brett. America,
Do it quickly.
America has cut. I'm a Southern boy. I talk slow. So America.
Wow, they fucking.
That was quick. America has cut our.
I don't think nuclear is a good
in half
long-term
in the last
solution.
25 years. The places
It's
where
still,
we're
it's like a
continuing to
slower
increase,
climate change. You'll
Africa,
just
950
slower
million
burn.
people. India over 1 billion.
We
China
have
over 1
other
billion.
options.
Why would we put ourselves at a disadvantage?
But I'd much rather have nuclear. If I had to
Devastating
pick
our own
between
economy.
nuclear and coal and
Let's
gas,
bring
yeah, of course.
Our jobs home.
We have a lot of different topics to get
Yeah,
to.
we do. We thank you all. Thank you, Senator Scott. So coming up next, the candidates will
What?
weigh in on what could be a
Oh, they get a
defining
break? What is
issue
this?
in the 2024 campaign. The first Republican debate continues moments away.
I'm mad behind American politics. Is Trump basically not on here because he's indicted under investigation? No, he just doesn't want to be here. He thinks he's above. He's above this. So he's actually. It probably already aired. He's on Tucker Carlson's new Twitter show or whatever. And he's doing an interview with him. So he's not on his way to. He's on Thursday. He needs to go in and get his mugshot and all that in Georgia. Yeah, Pence was right before you all got here. Pence was rocking it. I thought. I'm actually surprised. He was pretty aggressive. The only issue is I don't know if it's gonna work. His strategy. He basically was saying that he has the most experience. He knows how to deal with crises, which I don't think a lot. Even if you agree with that or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The Republicans don't. You know what I mean? When he goes back home after his mugshot, what's the point then? Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking jail and lawyer bullshit. You know what I mean? It's the whole process of the court cases have to be set and all that.
It's all fun and it's all sharp, Pete. It's sharp. But I do want to say this. The question
Did you just get home from work, Jarek?
1,000 people being missing still in Maui. And I can tell you
Alternative
right now what I want to know is who is a competent leader.
All right, so far, if we had a... So if for folks who missed it, I have 3 awards tonight that we're giving away to our candidates. So we have the debate winner, we have the debate loser, and we have the most crazy statement. I made predictions at the start of the stream. How are we feeling so far? For me, honestly, debate winner, Ramaswamy's been attacked, and I don't think he's fully deflected them. But he's doing pretty solid, and he's my kind of pick right now. DeSantis was kind of boring, but he hasn't had like a big like negative either. He just sounds boring. Pence, I kind of want to say Pence. I know this is crazy, but right now I feel like Pence kind of has that a little bit. But he's been booed though too, so I feel like it's a toss-up right now between Pence and Ramaswamy.
So Vivek is shining. He's losing.
The debate loser.
Is coming across the stage.
I don't know if we really have one yet. I mean,
Was asked about climate change. Only Vivek answered it. He said, "Listen, it's a hoax." Everyone else was parsing like, "We want to be cleaner. We want." Listen, if you can't.
I don't know. I don't really have anyone who's losing right now. Yeah, Pence doesn't have the crowd support, but I guess that does determine whether or not you're a debate winner, which kind of sucks. Most crazy statement is Ramaswamy saying we need to climate change is a hoax. We need to burn, frack, nuclear, whatever. I don't know. Actually, he didn't say climate change was a hoax. Yeah, he did say that while he was getting booed. I don't know what he was getting booed for. I don't know if it's because he was cutting in. There's no way he was getting booed for saying climate change is a hoax. There's no way. Because no one in that goddamn room gives a fuck. They won't give a fuck until they realize they need AC units running 365 days a year.
I don't think Tim Scott's quite caught his footing yet. You're right. It felt like a very DC answer on the spending and votes.
The billionaire guy who's pro-life. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're losers, though, because they probably won't even get enough time to really like feel like they could win or lose. You know what I mean? There's that balance of talking too much and talking too little, for sure, though.
He's bringing it tonight. Real quick, feels like outsiders versus insiders, young versus experienced.
Literally, why hasn't he made a statement about how Trump wanted to hang Mike Pence? Like, end the debate right there. For who should say that? You think Pence should say that? I think Pence is afraid. I mean, Pence has been kind of on the offensive of Trump, but not in a way like that. I don't think he wants to piss off. He knows that most of the Republican Party at this point, the voters, are Trump supporters. So it's so weird. They take a break, but they all just sit up there anyways.
We're not in Brett and Martha's head, but we're back to him right now. We'll see you guys in the next commercial break.
Probably because their target audience who's watching this needs to go to the bathroom every 30 minutes from all the fucking beer they drink. That's my guess. Like, yeah, we need to put some commercial breaks in here.
A losing issue for Republicans since the Dobbs decision. In 6
Getting people ready for the NFL.
all have upheld abortion rights in this country. And even in red states, there are more swing state referendums that are coming up as we head into the elections.
Yeah, what are their thoughts in Ohio, which is supposedly a red state, voted to protect abortion?
And to your state, which today confirmed a 6-week abortion law as well.
6 weeks abortion is basically banning abortion, by the way. Because most people don't find out they're pregnant until
Thank you, Martha. I am
6 weeks.
unapologetically pro-life. Not because the Republican Party tells me to be.
Lily, me right now going to the bathroom every 30 minutes? You're drinking too much,
and I had trouble having both of my children, so I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, we need to stop demonizing
I'm still pretty good. I could go.
This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and
I think, Ryro, do you work from home or anything? I think part of that, that is kind of me, is that like it's so convenient I might as well go.
It will take 60 Senate votes.
So like I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it.
So in order to do that,
like if you were like, let's say, working like outside your home, I can guarantee you'd be back to 3 times.
Can't we all agree?
That's me too, because I know when I go to work, like in the office, it's like 3 times.
Doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them.
If you're drinking all that water and you're peeing that much, that's good though.
Should be available, and can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion? Let's treat this like a respectful
boo! So I
want
to hear someone boo, be like, no.
The situation and stop demonizing the situation.
Brett, you're not mentioned, Vice President Pence. Governor DeSantis, you signed a
what a weird like take.
Ban in Florida.
I want a 6-week.
One of your biggest
I think she was supporting the 6-week ban,
shift to get moderates,
but also saying you shouldn't go to jail.
What do you say to him and others who say politically that is a tough thing to sell?
Imagine if they booed that, like, boo, kill him.
I would say we sold the biggest election landslide victory in the history of the Republican Party in the state of Florida in 2022. That's what I did. We can win. But second of all, look, you got to do what you think is right. I believe in a culture of life. I was proud to sign the heartbeat.
Yeah, we do need like a. I wish they had a scale of like, yeah, because like I said earlier, Christie is like a moderate. He's the most moderate on stage. Nikki Haley's pretty moderate too, generally, but she's so anti-trans.
On this issue is wrong to allow abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. I know a lady in Florida named Penny.
No, you
she
don't.
survived multiple abortion attempts. She was left discarded in a pan Fortunately, her grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital. We're better than what the Democrats
Do you know
are
what an
selling.
abortion is?
We are not going to allow abortion all the way up till birth, and we will hold them accountable
Threw
for their
you in a pan. What are you
extremism.
Well, just to
talking
be
about?
clear, Governor, would you sign a 6-week ban federally?
Yeah. What did he say?
I'm going to stand on the side of life. Look, I understand Wisconsin is going to do it different than Texas. I understand Iowa and New Hampshire are going to do different. But I will support the cause of life as governor and as president.
Vice President Pence, you're shaking your head.
We must have a national.
Hold on, Senator. Vice President Pence, you're shaking your head.
Well, look, I'm not new to this cause. After I gave my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I opened up the book and I read, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you."
Yes, sir.
And see, I set before you life and death.
God bless. Can I get a God bless in chat?
Choose life. And I knew from that moment on the cause of life had to be
Get
my
some
cause.
Hail Marys up in here.
And I've been a champion for life in the Congress, a champion for life as governor, and as vice president.
He's pro-life, Ryro.
And, to be
Everything,
honest with you,
any
Nick, you're
negative
my
thing you
friend,
could think
but,
of, he is that.
Consensus is the opposite of leadership. When the Supreme Court returned this question to the American people, they didn't just send it to the states only. It's not a states only issue, it's a moral issue. And
I'm telling you,
promise as
it'd be so
President of the
easy to
United
run as a
States,
Republican.
The American people
So
will have
easy.
a champion for life in the Oval Office. Can't we have a minimum standard in every state in the nation that says when a baby is capable of feeling pain, an abortion cannot be allowed? A 15-week ban is an idea whose time has come. It's supported by 70% of the American people, but it's going to take unapologetic
Jesus Christ,
leadership,
huge cheers.
leadership that stands on principle and expresses compassion for women.
I would every answer I would start with that. Be like,
I'll do that as
when I
President
first
of the United States.
came to the light of Jesus Christ.
So first of all, I will say it is in the hands of the people, and that's where it should be. But when you're talking about a federal ban, be honest with the American people.
I am
We
being
haven't
honest.
had 45 pro-life senators in over 100 years. So no
Yeah, because it's a
Republican
bad
president can
policy.
ban abortions any more than a Democrat president could ban all those
Because even,
state
like I
laws.
said,
Don't make
even
women
there's a
feel
lot of
like they
Republican
have to
voters who
decide
are
on this issue when you
pro-
know we don't have 60
pro-abortion or
Senate
whatever.
votes
Pro-choice.
in the House.
70% of the American people support legislation
But
to ban
70% of
abortion.
the
No, they do not.
does
They do not. You're talking bullshit, Pence. Maybe the other way around.
70% of the Senate does not. You have to be honest with the
We have to
American
have a
people.
15-week limit.
Let's get Governor Bergman.
Rod, you gotta be careful with the
So,
death
but
threats.
The
Just
Supreme
you
Court
can
did
Twitch can be.
overturn Roe v. Wade. And,
You can get
and
banned for that
the
shit.
result of that decision was that it went back to the states. So that's where it is right now. So as I understand it, you are not.
Yeah,
in
Jarek.
favor
Earlier I saw it.
of a federal ban.
It was a photo of it at a random
What do you
angle,
say
and instead of democracy, I
about
thought
the
it said
states? There's about
Democrat.
5 of them, including New Jersey, I think a few others, that allow abortion up until the time of birth, though. If you were president, would you be able to abide that?
Well, first of all, I'm a pro-life governor of a very pro-life state. And this issue is, of course, very
No, I got you. I
important,
just
but
don't want. I don't want
am
you to
on the
get banned, and
record
I don't want to
stand
get banned.
behind
You know.
that we should not have a federal abortion ban. We should not. And the reason why we shouldn't
Hey,
is
on
very
Twitter,
simple.
though, you might be able to
It's
get
the
away
10th
with it.
Amendment in the Constitution. In the Constitution, which
With,
the states
our
created
boy
the federal
Musk in
government,
charge.
not the other way around, it says that there were certain duties allowed to the federal government delegated to them by the states. The rest are left to the states, comma, or importantly, or to the people. We need to get back to freedom and liberty for the people in this country. And we can't have Republicans who fight for 50 years for this great cause
And win.
to return it back to the states, and then the next day they turn around and go, no, the feds should do that, because the feds are stepping into people's lives, they're stepping into people's businesses. Over and over. If we say that the Fed should be in on this one, where do we stop? I say
It's true.
that we follow the
I
Constitution.
do not condone,
and this is returned to the states. This is where it should be.
All right, I don't support any hate.
6-week ban. Governor Burgum, you signed a 6-week ban.
Oh,
So
Jarek,
you're
he's
saying
our
federally,
billionaire
It's all
of
gonna
the
go to
group.
states.
He's the Republican
Yes, and
Bloomberg.
What is going to work in New York will never work in North Dakota.
Bloomberg
and
was
vice
like
versa.
pretty
That's
much a
why
Republican.
50 states.
Hutchinson,
That's why
right
50
here.
states.
This is too important of an issue that I have to address. First of all,
Here's our
the
other
Supreme Court
0.1%
gave it
in the
back
polls.
to the elected representatives, whether it's the states or whether it's the United States Congress.
That's
So there
right.
is authority, and that's why President Biden is pushing for a Democrat proposal, which is, in essence, abortion on demand through the term. So they have
Abortion on
their
demand. Get
extreme
your abortions
position
here.
at a national level.
BOGO.
We It's most
Come on
likely going
down.
to be addressed
Come
in the
on down,
states,
get one.
but it's certainly fine for it to be addressed at the national level as well. Arkansas has the record of being the most pro-life state in the nation.
Well, I mean,
I signed
a lot of these people are millionaires,
pieces of legislation
big millionaires.
while I was
But yeah,
governor.
he's the
And
the
every
other guy's the
state
billionaire
can determine
from a small
different
town.
outcome here, and it is the most important issue for women.
He's just
and
like me, for real.
The unborn child, and for
On
our
God,
country
as
that
the
we
kids
get
say.
this right. It's going to be a continued debate. Let's talk about it in terms of compassion, in terms of protecting the life, and also understanding how we have to enhance abortion,
I've liked that
adoption
Mike Pence has been
services, how we
aggressive
have
so
to
far, but
enhance
not interrupting.
maternal care. Those things we've done in Arkansas and are important for our nation's future.
We'll see
There
more
are a lot of
interruption
issues that are very important.
towards the end of the debate, probably.
Senator, I'll let you weigh in.
We cannot let states like California, New York, and Illinois have abortions on demand up until
Have you been
the
to New York?
day of birth. That is immoral. It is unethical. It is wrong. We must
Yeah, they're just
have
debating on how
a
much they hate
president of
women.
the United States who will advocate and fight for at the minimum a 15-week
In New York,
limit.
they, like, really
I'm
hate women,
100%
I've heard.
Pro-life conservative. I have a 100% pro-life record. I got to tell you, though, we must fight for life. Our Declaration of Independence says our Creator gave
Do they really have
us
abortions until
inalienable
birth?
rights that include
I mean,
life.
well, here's the thing. Most abortions
That is
happen in the
that
first
is an
trimester,
issue
like
we
90% of them.
must solve. We can't
So
leave it to
this whole, like,
Illinois. We
they
can't
were worrying
leave it to
about this, they want to
Minnesota.
pass all these
We can't
laws
leave
for
it to
that.
Illinois. We must solve that
They're
issue
just,
with
it's
a
just
15-week
statistically,
limit
like, just
at
not
a minimum.
happening. But no one's getting it at birth, unless there was some serious medical condition to the
Are they
mother.
for 38 weeks? Are they for 39 weeks? Are they for 40 weeks? Because that's what the media needs to be asking.
All right, another issue is America and the crime crisis, the homelessness crisis. American cities
here we go.
are
Here
in
we go.
decline. People are moving out as homelessness, drugs, crime.
All right, and I want, during this section here,
accelerated.
I want you to think about how many liberals actually have similar takes
Murders in Los Angeles, New York,
when it comes to the
Chicago,
homeless.
all up 30%.
Just want you to listen carefully, and you'll realize a lot of homeless, or a lot of liberals,
The largest jump in
talk in a much nicer way of saying the same thing.
Pence, a lot of this began in the COVID era. How much of what we're seeing happening around this country is a result of those COVID
Hello,
lockdowns,
sweet
and
Hellwolf,
is your
welcome.
administration in part to blame for how we
Just
got
imagine
here?
if Marjorie Taylor Greene was in this debate. I don't want to
Democrats
imagine
been
that.
talking about defunding the police for the last 5 years.
And they
we ought to be
didn't.
funding law enforcement, particularly in
They
our
haven't.
major cities, at unprecedented levels.
I wish,
I mean, it's
but they
extraordinary to
haven't.
think about the violence that's claiming innocent lives literally every week in every major city in this country. And yet Democrats and liberal prosecutors in major metropolitan areas continue to work out their fanciful agendas.
It's just like a fun, like, thing that women do on the
bail reform
weekends.
and go easy.
Let's go get
What
abortions,
we need
sure.
is strong commitment.
And
to
afterwards
law
you can see a
enforcement.
movie.
We need leadership in Washington, D.C. that'll marshal the resources of the states, marshal the resources of the American people. But let me also say it's about opportunity. I mean, a lot of people don't know that those Trump-Pence tax cuts that we got signed into law go away at the end of 2025 if we don't have a Republican president and a Republican House and a Republican Senate. When I'm president of the United States, we're actually going to cut taxes further. We're going to extend those tax cuts.
Pence and law
we're gonna
enforcement,
close
my
the Federal
favorite
Department of
combination.
Education, block grant all that funding back to the states with a growing economy
Yeah.
and educational choice.
There's been actually
and
more
and
funding
law
under
enforcement. We will
Biden.
bring our cities back.
Governor Christie,
For the police.
Another issue this weekend.
I always say this,
here
the
in
New York
Milwaukee,
Police Department
reports say there were 30
has a bigger
shootings,
budget
and
than
a number
other
of them
countries'
including
entire
kids.
military
Add
budget.
that to the big increase in school shootings around the country. Democrats
I do
blame
want to
this
get abortions
crisis
with my
on easy
besties, so
access to
true.
guns. They also blame Republicans for blocking gun control legislation.
Could you
What will
imagine there's no
President
taxes just in general?
You know, I'm proud of the fact, Brett, that I'm the only person along with Governor Hutchinson up on this stage who's actually running United States
All right,
Attorney's
Chris, don't
Office.
blow
I
this
ran the
one.
fifth largest
I
office
feel like you're
in
doing all
America
right,
in
besides
in a
the
state where
racist jab
there is
earlier.
Significant urban crime, and the problem.
Hey,
is
maybe
not
that
gonna
means
be
he's doing
solved
good.
by more money. The problem is that these prosecutors in these localities in the states are refusing to do their job and to arrest violent criminals. So what a President Christie would do is appoint an attorney general who would instruct each of the 93 U.S. attorneys that they are to take over the prosecution of violent crime in every one of those cities that are failing to do so. We have plenty of room in the federal prisons to lock up these violent criminals and clean up what's going on all across this country in these individual cities. Secondly, what we need to make sure that each and every one of these criminals understand is that the laws apply to everybody. And when Hunter Biden fills out a fake application.
Interesting, he's going after Hunter. That's 2 times now. He's the only one really going after Hunter.
And then is facing
he's trying to get that the Trump points.
Mandatory minimum.
Yeah, libertarians don't want any tax. They want free market capitalism to the extreme.
And then you have a Justice Department that walks away
basically
from
the
those
3
charges.
things with libertarians is zero tax, $0 minimum wage,
he would go to jail for 10 years.
and then
what about a President Ramaswamy?
no age of consent laws.
What does a President Ramaswamy do about guns?
So the reality is we have a crime wave.
And they just want, capitalism to run free.
The question is, do we actually have the spine to do it? More cops in the streets who are on the streets able to do their jobs without looking over their shoulder for getting sued. And we also have a mental health epidemic in this country. Just over the same period that we have closed mental health institutions, we have seen a spike in violent crime. Do we have the spine to bring them back? I think we should. As president, I will. But it's not just drugging up people in those psychiatric institutions with Zoloft and Seroquel. It's a deeper issue. I think faith-based approaches can play a role here, too. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. And I say this as a member of my generation. The problem in our country right now, the reason we have that mental health epidemic is that people are so hungry for purpose and meaning at a time when family, faith, patriotism,
alienation,
have all disappeared.
Which is a part of capitalism. I've been saying this.
Saying that this is what it means to be an American. Yes, we
will
he's
so
stand for the
fast.
rule of law.
Yeah.
Yes, we will close the southern border where criminals are coming in every day. And yes, we will back law enforcement because we remember who we really are. And that's also how we address that mental health epidemic in the next generation that is directly
it's by making more cops.
Governor DeSantis, really quickly. Governor DeSantis.
We'll beat the living shit out of you to tell you to stop being depressed.
We're not looking for a new national identity. The American people are the most faith-filled, freedom-loving, idealistic, hardworking people the world has ever known. We just need government as good as our people.
Pence is right there.
The difference is you might have some others like you may have on the stage. It's Morning in America speech. It is not Morning in America.
I told you he was going to bring his game. Ramaswamy, I told you he's dangerous.
We're in an internal sort of cold cultural civil war, and we have to recognize that
people with the failed government in Washington D.C. We just need government as good as our people again.
So let me just finish addressing that slogan because I don't know what that slogan means. We need to shut down the administration.
People are hungry for purpose, so they're suffering. It's totally not because hungry for food and can't afford it. It's also hard to feel like you have purpose when every week you have to grind out 70-hour work weeks so you can just barely put food on your table.
It's a 50-year low. And so here's the thing. These hollowed out cities, this is a symptom of America's decline. And one of the biggest reasons is because you have George Soros
don't even give the word radical, all right? Radical,
district attorneys
as he says it, the word radical has always been a left-leaning term. Don't even give him the word radical. I don't want him to take that.
Start running the asylum. There's one guy in this entire country that's ever done anything about that. Me. When we had 2 of these district attorneys in Florida elected with Soros funding who said they wouldn't do their job, I removed them from their posts. They are gone.
Yeah.
And as president, we are going to go after all of these people because they are hurting the quality of life and they are victimizing innocent people in every corner of this country, and it will stop when I get into office.
Okay, one more here.
He's saying all the right things, right? But like he's just so monotone. Honestly, that's how if I was on stage, it's probably how that would sound, to be honest. I can't even criticize him too much because
neighbors help neighbors.
That'd be me.
People understand each other. If a farmer
I'd be
gets sick,
a fucking
comes
loser
together
on
and helps him
stage.
get the crop off. There's accountability. There's transparency. One thing that I think this country could use is somebody in the White House that understands small town values, because that's our road back to get this country on track again.
Governor Hutchinson.
was former head of the DEA.
It's so funny. They keep going between them two to give them like actual time to speak. But they always do it at the end of whatever the main question is.
There's 3 simple words that would be helpful. 1, enforce the law when it comes to crime. Secondly, let's deal with the challenge of fentanyl. And it's both about stopping the fentanyl coming from Mexico, but it's also about education of our young people, making sure that we have the tools that are needed.
I would mumble until the bell rings and then silently look at the ground, right?
Expanded in Arkansas as well. Whenever you look at the underlying challenge of America, though, no one likes to see an America with.
Well, that's why I'm missing Trump, man, because his charisma.
Of the United States,
if he was a D&D sheet, or he has D&D character sheet, his charisma is like already a 20.
That a former president who's under indictment has undermined by attacking judges, by attacking prosecutors, by attacking the system, and saying he's aggrieved.
You know, if you say the word fentanyl too loud, someone could die.
Justice
you know
system and the rule of law, and it starts at the top with the President of the United States.
Brett, thank you. Hold on.
Take a break.
Brett.
So, speaking of
We're taking a break.
right now,
Bye.
you are looking live
What are all these
at
breaks?
Fulton County Jail, where former President Donald Trump will be processed tomorrow.
Wow, riveting.
So next, the candidates will have an opportunity to talk about the coming trials of Donald Trump.
Quick, someone get out there and moon the camera. I think we're gonna have to watch the Trump versus Trump and what's his name video. Probably not tonight, but
Producers on the case here, they teased that
Tucker Carlson. Because the trailer looked, I'm not gonna lie, they did really good with the trailer. Tucker was asking some wild questions.
But real quick, guys, looking back, topic 3, abortion. Topic 4, crime, drugs, homelessness.
I know, Rohan, I know. I think that's his biggest negative is that he's brown. He's not white. That's why I think it's tough for him. But I mean, his polling has gone up ever since he did the Eminem rap video. He's been going up.
To that exchange, it seems that Pence and Vivek have a bit of a thing tonight. That line, I don't know what that slogan means. Certainly, Pence feels like I'm the experienced guy. You need on-the-job training. Pretty interesting. You can see how the crowd responded to that. Let's go in opposite order this time.
Where's my polls? Where's my polls?
Yeah, so on the abortion issue, interesting in that Nikki Haley is saying we're going to build a consensus. Pete, there's no consensus on abortion. You're not going to find consensus.
Give me the
answer.
There we go.
Ron DeSantis was asked, will you sign a
see this? Look at this. Look, Ramaswamy might take DeSantis after tonight, if I'm being real. That's what I'm saying. This is a big debate for DeSantis, and so far he hasn't even spoke that much. And he's been fine. He's not blowing the roof off. He's not doing terrible, but he's just he has no riz. You know what I mean?
And in a primary debate, that's incredibly important, I think, for a lot of Republican
Javier Milei for U.S. president.
Good point.
From Commie Hunter. Fam, I think you're in the wrong chat.
Nikki Haley looking pretty good there across the board. Will, what do you think?
Because we're Commie Hunter hunters in this chat.
Actually, more, and I thought actually Ron DeSantis sounded authoritative. I think that's what plays into his wheelhouse to talk about policy and policy that was put into place in Florida. But now the real
Pence is like
for DeSantis and everybody
Pence has never been.
Now you have to.
He's just been kind of just coasting at 10%. Not even 4%, 5%.
For sure. Tammy, your takeaways.
Well, I think Nikki Haley's answer actually.
I think DeSantis might be the loser only if because he's not doing anything to really propel himself. He's just being fine. You know what I mean? I think that's why I went back to this at the start, where it was.
Contraception, those kinds of things.
I feel like it's tougher for the people who are kind of in the front, who isn't Trump. That they have better odds of being a debate loser because there's more pressure on them to succeed. The guy who's polling 1% can't really lose because he's already losing. You know what I mean?
Where Americans are united. And there's
Mike Pence has been doing well in this debate. I'm actually pretty surprised by that. He's showing his experience, I guess. Yeah, so we have our 3 awards in case you missed it. We have most crazy statement, debate loser, debate winner. I still think it's Ramaswamy with his I wrote it down, burn, frack, and nuclear.
So
I really liked that
was
one.
An excellent element into this, and I would have to agree
Debate
about
loser, I guess. Yeah, like so far, I guess it can either be DeSantis. I'd say Nikki Haley's kind of sucked ass too.
relaxed a little bit, like
She's like honestly sounds a little too libbed up.
and perhaps we'll have more of that on Trump. You know the way to answer this?
Your anarchist communists, those are polar
Recognize
opposites.
that
No, they're
none
not.
of this, frankly, is about Trump. It is about a federal government, an establishment that is out of control.
Consider yourself an ANCAP. Oh, we were just talking about people like you. That's crazy. We were just talking about people who out there who like want 0% of taxes, $0 minimum wage, and no age of consent laws. That's crazy.
Try that in a small town at the end of his small town answer. He's been going back to that small town a couple of times. It was a good answer.
You know what's actually a contradiction is the word anarchist and capitalist, because historically speaking, the word anarchist has always been an anti-capitalist ideology. Anarchy means no rulers. No, it doesn't.
You might even call them cable news answers. He can give the
What? Yeah, the old Latin term for it, sure, but it's 2023. You know what I mean?
Of drawing on, well, this is what I did as governor, or this is what I did as senator, or this is what I voted for, which I don't know about you guys. Sometimes that just feels like white noise. It's like
Legalize racism, yeah.
Or too many Red Bulls. I don't know. Just an interesting observation.
When you haven't led, when you haven't voted,
and that's all we got. Now
it's
we're
really easy to
That's
be,
true. That's true.
Be idealistic.
Yeah.
We'll see in a second.
Yeah, it's funny. That's what sucks. You know, there's people like them exist because anarchists have been around for so long, and all it takes is those losers to come in and co-opt it, which are just libertarians. They call themselves ANCAP to sound a little different, make them sound a little more edgier or whatever the fuck. Or because the word libertarianism has now been associated with people like Ben Shapiro. But whatever, I digress.
In 4 different states on 91 counts. He will be processed tomorrow in Georgia.
Where's my audio button? No, I don't want to pause it.
For charges
Where is
relating
it?
to the 2020
Hello?
election loss.
The fuck?
You all signed a pledge to support
Oh
the
yeah, they
eventual
took a blood
Republican
oath.
nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support
Okay,
him
you're just being
as
dumb.
your party's choice?
Yeah,
Please
we want to
raise
ban
your
golf in
hand
this chat.
if you would. Just hold on. So just to be clear, Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand.
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And
not
I know
this.
you didn't.
Whoa. No.
You are dumb. Bro, your name is Commie Hunter. You're already
Here's the
dumb.
bottom line.
And your profile
Someone's
picture,
to stop
you look like a
normalizing this
nerd.
conduct.
Come on.
Okay?
All right, you're gone. Bye-bye.
And now whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong,
Bro really came in here trying to be like,
is
I'm
beneath
pro-pedophilia.
the office
It's like,
of
okay,
President
whatever.
of the United States. And you know, this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth.
Boo!
Mr. Ramaswamy, you raised your hand supporting.
I'd like to get
Yeah,
in and
you know he
respond. Let's
uses
just
the hard
speak
R.
the
Yeah,
truth,
yeah.
okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if
That's
your
so
entire
true. What do you mean?
campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. And if people
Yo, this crowd is so dumb.
people blindly bashing Donald Trump
Stop
without an
feeding
iota
him.
of
It's
vision for this
giving him
country,
power.
They can just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin
So
ice, and we cannot set
true.
a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
30 seconds, Governor DeSantis.
Look, you know, let me tell you
No, I'm sorry. 30 seconds, Governor
You
Christie.
make me laugh because
Goes both ways, brother.
you sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer right.
Hold on one second.
I thought the crowd wasn't supposed to participate. This is why I love the frickin' primaries, man. They don't give a fuck.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Mute the crowd. Turn them off.
So listen, The more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about.
They don't want issues.
So let's just get through this section.
They don't want issues. They don't care about that.
You sit here talking about how you want to stand up for the rule of law.
Yes.
And law and order.
Ramaswamy might be a VP pick.
In
You
your
know what I mean? The
book,
way he's
You have
speaking.
much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not true.
Well, it is very true.
That is not
It's
true.
very true. I read it,
Because
and
there's
I know.
a difference
Look,
between
I
bad
know.
behavior and illegal
By the way,
behavior, Chris. And you as a
by the way,
prosecutor,
Fight.
You know what? I know a lot
There's
better.
a difference between
I know,
bad behavior. And
I know a lot better than you do. You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing. We stood up for law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution. He said,
Boo, fuck the Constitution. Boo.
politicized indictments, and we have to call out the truth.
Martha, it's important to say that the president said, Donald Trump said, it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend.
Right, Rowan, right.
I will always stand up for our Constitution, regardless of the political pressure.
We have another
He'll get the young voters, the young conservatives.
I have another question. Hold on, you will.
Yeah, I'll give
So
Christie credit for like
former
dying on
vice
the hill
president
that
is on
Trump,
this
you
stage
know,
tonight. He has faced hecklers on the campaign trail over his actions
Trump is,
on January the 6th.
you know, wrong
On
or
that
whatever.
day, the vice president moved forward with the certification of the election. So do you believe that Mike Pence did the right thing, Senator Scott? Do you believe he did the right thing?
Absolutely. He did the right thing. Number one. Number two.
You were just booing Christie.
We should be.
That's what the whole court case is basically about.
Bigger question about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing I'll do.
It's so funny
is
that they're
fire
trying to
Merrick
find like a
Garland.
sweet spot
Second thing I'll do, fire
on this
Christopher
issue.
Wray, because we need Lady Justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence in our justice system. 17%.
Yeah, I thought January
of
6th was an
Republicans have
Antifa inside
confidence
job.
in
I'm very
our
confused why they
Department of
were even
Justice.
talking about this.
Here's why. We keep seeing not only the weaponization of the Department of Justice against political opponents, but also against parents who show up at school board meetings. They're called, under this DOJ, they're called domestic terrorists.
Yeah, I agree.
Shut down the FBI. Actually have the courage to get it right.
Mr. Ramaswamy.
Yeah, Ramaswamy, the only base thing is he wants to get rid of the FBI.
In addition to that, we see the SWAT team show up at pro-life activist homes with guns drawn because this DOJ uses their power, uses their authority, not just against
Probably
political
because they
opponents,
said they're
but
going to
against
kill Joe Biden on
conservatives and
Facebook or
conservative
whatever.
causes. It is time for a change.
The only
in
reason the
America,
feds would be
and
knocking
I
on your
will bring
door
that
is if
change
you're
to
saying
the
crazy
greatest
shit on
nation
Facebook
God's green earth.
or on social media.
DeSantis, do you believe that Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th?
So here's what we need to do. We need to end the weaponization of these federal agents.
But that's not
I
the
will do
question.
that.
That's not the question.
Here, I know, but here's the thing.
You can answer the
This
question.
election is not about January 6th of 2021. It's about January 20th.
My
of
fear, though, is if they
2025,
got rid of
when
the
next
FBI, they would
president is
put in
gonna
their
take office.
own
I know what the
quote-unquote
Democrats would like to
FBI
do.
that is
They
just
wanna
a
talk about all these other
yes
issues,
man
but we've gotta
to the
focus on
president. You know what I
your
mean?
Future. We've got to focus on
And that's where it gets
reversing the
extra
decline of our
fascist.
country. I learned in the military, I was assigned with U.S. Navy SEALs in Iraq, that you focus on the mission above all else. You can't get distracted. So
Yeah, wasn't DeSantis in Iraq? Or Desert Storm or something? He was in a war.
Bringing the message that can win in November
Did not answer
2024.
the question. Did not answer the question.
Vice President Pence, what do you think, Vice President?
Yeah, never post your
Constitution of the
manifestos
United States.
on
I think-
Facebook. This is like
I think the American people deserve to know whether everyone
don't.
on this stage agrees that
You
I
know,
kept my oath
like-
to the Constitution.
yeah, just
that
don't
day.
say because there was even
More
the.
important duty. So answer the
I've heard
question.
stories of like people who are just like posting on Facebook, even
So,
just
yeah,
like
why are we? Mike did his duty. I got no beef with
just
him.
like
but here's the
saying
thing.
death threats that has
If
gotten
this is what
people
we're gonna be focusing
arrested.
on
So it's like, yeah, you just
going
cannot. Don't say
forward,
shit on
the
social.
rehashing of this, I'll tell you,
Governor
the
DeSantis,
Democrats would love that,
we
and they
spent-
will win if we
Governor
let him get
DeSantis,
away with it. I'm not letting Biden hang out in the basement this time. We're going to run him ragged around this country, and we're going to hold him accountable.
Let me just say, Governor DeSantis,
He's
we spent an
trying
hour
so
talking
hard.
about policy. Former President Trump is beating you by 30, 40 points in many
Beating
polls.
everybody by
So
30.
is
Why
a
is it?
factor in the GOP
Why are you just
primary.
pointing out to him?
Governor Hutchinson, you did not raise your hand.
I did not raise my hand because there's an important issue we as a party have to face. And over a year ago, I said that Donald Trump was morally disqualified from being president again as a result of what happened on January 6th. More people are understanding the importance of that, including conservative legal scholars who says he may be disqualified under the 14th Amendment from being president again as a result of the insurrection.
Because that's the
This
thing.
is something that could disqualify him.
Right. He's right. Don't boo this man. He's right. Even if you think he's not guilty for some crazy reason.
Convicted of a serious felony.
That if Trump, I think under this fourth indictment, if he is guilty and whatnot, I think that stops him from being president. And the issue is if he's leading in the polls and he gets the nomination, but then he's in jail, it will disqualify him, and then the Republicans would be scrambling and they don't have anybody, which would basically guarantee a Biden election win.
Asked and not give a pre-canned speech. Mike Pence stood for the Constitution, and he deserves not grudging credit. He deserves our thanks as Americans for putting his oath of office and the Constitution of the United States before personal, political, and unfair pressure. And the argument that we need to have in this party before we can move on to the issues.
I think most of the court cases and stuff would be in March of next year, which is right around the time Iowa is.
Who said that we need to suspend the Constitution to put forward his political career? Mike Pence said no, and he deserves credit for it.
Okay.
You could just, yeah, we saw this divide last stream. There's like 3 or 4 moderates, then you have like Mike Pence as his own kind of middle section, and everyone else is to the freaking far right.
I do think that we need to give him credit for that. But what I will also tell you is, look, I mean,
he's trying to cushion it, but I don't think Trump supporters are going to buy
I
it.
trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide. But what they will tell you is
She sounds
that
so
it is
lived
time
up.
for a new generational conservative leader.
Except for right
we
here.
have to look at the fact that 3/4 of Americans don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden. And we have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way.
Governor Bergen?
Governor Bergen?
It's Governor Bergen, opportunity.
She right.
Happy to answer the question. Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th. But I want to say, you started off the top of this hour saying we're going to talk about China, Ukraine, education. We are. China is the #1 threat to our country. And
Yeah,
every
come
minute
on.
that these 8 candidates spend talking about the past instead about the future is time that is just you know who loves it?
time to
Biden
go to
loves
war.
it, but China loves it when we're talking about the past.
Okay, as promised, we were going to spend a few questions on it, let people say what they
I
want
think
to say.
people in China
and now,
are
indeed,
sleeping
we are
right
moving
now.
on to the subject
The
of
U.S. has committed nearly 77.
Can I speak on this issue? I was
You
kind of
did
involved.
you answered on this.
You did.
You did
say
answer.
something.
Yeah.
We thought you were done, but you
No, I
please.
wasn't done.
Well, Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in
I'm not
making a
done.
commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate on the stage who had the courage to actually say it. That is how we move our
Crazy.
nation forward
I don't know
and
why
turn the
you
page
assume that
forward. That's
Donald
exactly
Trump
right.
Yeah,
will be
right. Just like
convicted of these
Nixon,
crimes.
right?
You should be able to make a commitment, the same justice system that was
Let's
this
go,
corrupt.
There's a difference between you and me.
Yeah, I'm not a professional politician. That's the difference. Who can answer a question?
I've actually given pardons when I was governor of the state of Indiana. It usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So, look, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may, you know, it's not about looking back at January 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It's about January 20th, 2017. I put my left hand on Ronald Reagan's Bible. I raised my right hand.
This is canned. This is canned.
I
I've
took
heard
an
him say
oath
this shit.
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And it ended with a prayer.
He's the most
So
classic
help me
politician
God.
of everybody here.
It was a promise that I made to the American people, but I also made it to my Heavenly Father.
Dude, I would burn
Every day
Ronald
for 4
Reagan's
years, I sought to keep that
freaking
oath.
Bible. If I got my
Everyone
hands
on
on
this
that, I'm
stage
laying that
needs to
up.
make it clear whether
Bringing
or
the
not they'll do
whole,
the same.
all my friends
If they're
over,
on this
the whole
job,
community
the
over. We're going
confidence
to do
of
like
the
a
American
bonfire.
people.
We'll burn it.
Now, look, I've made it clear. I had hoped that the issues surrounding the 2020 election and the controversies around January 6th had not come to this.
What if the Bible's kind of like an Evil Dead, the book of, what's it called? The Book of Necronomicon or whatever?
But no one's above the
you
law.
open it and read it.
And President Trump is entitled
like Ronald
to
Reagan comes back as an evil, as a ghost or whatever.
Entitled to.
An evil spirit. Well, I guess he could already be evil, but you know what I mean.
But the American people deserve to know.
How's that TOS?
That the president asked me.
What's up, comrade? By the way.
In his request that I reject or return votes
however you say
power that no vice president in American history had ever exercised or taken, he asked me to put him over the Constitution. And I chose the Constitution, and I always will. I had no right to overturn the election, and
I'm having a good day,
Kamala
comrade.
Harris will have no right to overturn the election when we beat
It's a
them
good
in
stream.
2024.
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
Yeah, Pence. Yep.
Now we are moving on to other issues.
P-E-N-C-E.
The U.S. has committed nearly $77 billion in aid to the Ukraine war. The administration is now asking Congress for $24 billion more.
Should I take shots on empty stomach, or is that a bad idea?
Specifics
That is totally your
of
call.
that plan. Is there anyone on stage who
I
would
wouldn't,
not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would not support it. Europe needs to step up. I mean, I would have Europe step up.
All right.
And do their job.
There's one of the only two things I agree with on Ramaswamy is giving more funding to Ukraine.
Governor DeSantis?
I will have Europe pull their weight. Right now, they're not doing that.
You would not support
and I think
more
we need
funding?
to do, and I think our support should be contingent on them doing it. And I would have support in China to be able
Who will
to
support
take,
Russia
to
the
be able to
most?
take China and do what we need to do with China.
Probably like
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of
probably
funding
Pence
to
or
Ukraine.
any of the
I would
moderate
not.
folks.
And I think that this is disastrous. That we are protecting
Because a lot of the far right
against
don't
an
like
invasion across
the
somebody
war
else's
at
border
all.
When we should use
It's one of the
those
few
same
things I
military
feel like
resources to prevent across the invasion of
far
our own
right,
southern border here in the United States.
maybe farther left people agree on.
Driving Russia further into
Let's loop
China's
Israel in the
hands.
conversation too. Right, right.
China alliance is the
That's where
single
the
greatest
conversation
threat
would
we
end,
face.
though.
And I find it offensive that we have professional politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage
Cherokee
to
wrote
Kyiv,
wait
to
like
their Pope, Zelensky,
like waiting,
without doing
not
the same thing for
wait
people
as in how
Maui
heavy.
or the south side of Chicago or Kensington.
Okay.
I think that we have to put the interests of Americans first. Secure our own border instead of somebody else's.
He was referring.
And the reality is, this is also how we project strength
And he
by
says
making
we're
America
using
strong at
soundbites?
home.
Thank you.
All right, we
We're
heard,
gonna
we
go-
heard the names.
let's
Governor
go
Christie
to-
first.
All right, look, I did go to Ukraine, and I went to Ukraine because I wanted
Christie
to
fought
see
in Ukraine,
for
actually.
myself
He
what
was on the front
Vladimir
lines. They gave him an
Putin's
M4 and
army
everything.
was doing to the free Ukrainian people. And let me tell you, I want you all to look around this arena tonight and imagine that every one of these seats was filled. And if every one of them was filled, there would still be 2,500 more children outside to make over
Welcome back,
20,000
Ryo.
who have been abducted, stolen, ripped from their mothers and fathers, and brought back to Russia to be programmed to fight their own
Mickey.
families. They have gouged out people's eyes, cut off their ears, and shot people in the back of the head, men, and then gone into those homes and raped the daughters and the wives who were left as widows and orphans.
Interesting, because that's what America did in a lot of other countries.
Vladimir Putin. This is the Vladimir.
Not saying it's right,
who
obviously.
Donald Trump called brilliant.
Fuck Russia.
And a genius. If we don't stand up against this type of autocratic.
But it's just so funny when American politicians point fingers at the atrocities that other countries are doing as if they don't do it every fucking day.
You were mentioned.
Governor Haley, we'll come back.
Vice President Pence was mentioned. You get 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, let me be
Yeah, I
clear.
heard about the plane
Anybody that
thing.
thinks that we
I didn't
can't
fully
solve
read
the
it, though.
problems here in the United States
Or know too
and be
much
the
else
leader of the
besides
free
it
world
crashed and that, like,
has a
'cause he-
pretty small view
he's
of
part
the
of like the
greatest nation
Russian
on
like
earth.
government, right?
We can do
That guy
both,
Prigozhin.
We've been the leader of the free world and the arsenal of democracy
They
for
shot it
years.
down?
The
Ukraine
Reagan
did?
doctrine years
I thought it
ago made
crashed.
clear. We said, if you're willing to fight the communists on your soil, we'll give you the means to fight them there so our troops don't have to fight them. Vivek, if we do the giveaway that you want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long for he
Told you.
rolls
I told you it'd be
across a
Pence.
NATO border.
Who'd be
and
pro-
frankly,
who'd be pro-Ukraine.
Our men and women of our armed forces are going to have to go and fight him. I want to let the Ukrainians fight.
Or is the question
and
pro-Russia?
drive
I mean,
Putin and the Russians
then it's
back out of
Ramaswamy.
I want to just briefly address Pence, Vice President Pence. I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
I think it's 1991.
The communists. And the real communists that we have to address right now
have any
is the
idea what Vladimir Putin's aims are.
You already spoke. Now I actually have something to say.
Vladimir Putin has been saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere of influence.
He's commie hunter.
I'm sorry if I insulted him by calling him a communist. He is a dictator and a murderer. And the United States of America.
No one even knows definitions anymore. This is why I'm so like anti-label. It doesn't because all it takes is someone to say in a position of power to
China. And we are
position
driving
of power will
Russia
say something, and everyone will
further
think that's how you.
into China's
That's the rules.
The Russia-China military alliance is the single greatest threat we face. Nobody in either political party is talking about it, and I am the only non-neocon on this stage who will keep us out of war.
Mr. Vice President, we can't hear. Mr. Vice President,
is to give Russia everything they've got.
Mr. Vice President,
give them a promise that Ukraine will never be in NATO, and then somehow China will not think about taking Taiwan. We achieve peace through strength.
Mr. Vice
and
President.
America needs to stand for freedom.
Okay, here we go.
God, America would nuke everybody if they could. We would. We are the modern Roman Empire. We would take over if we could.
So, Mr. Vice President, we appreciate your aggressiveness here. 30 seconds is 30
Yeah,
seconds.
I'm giving Pence a lot of credit tonight. He came out
30 seconds.
unexpectedly, gun swinging.
That today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot end it. You cannot start another.
Well, I thought you hate
war.
communists.
And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources.
You're anti-Vietnam
when
War?
we could be
What?
better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland. All right, that will be my
Joe
top
Biden doesn't do
priority.
cocaine. I don't know why you think that.
Then the 30 seconds in the revive.
Just
So I
because
do wanna
cocaine
get
was
to
at the
other
White House,
people
it definitely
because
wasn't him.
everybody, we respect
I can guarantee you his
everybody's time here.
staffers
So,
probably do.
Governor Haley, you did not raise your hand, meaning that you would support more funding for the Ukraine war. You have said of
Nikki
Governor
Haley's,
DeSantis that you
pretty
didn't
lived
appreciate
up.
it when he initially called it a territorial decision.
Yeah, everyone disagrees mostly now in America.
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity. They need to know the difference between right and wrong. They need to know the difference between good and evil.
It's only because they lost, though.
When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk
Sagar,
about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5%.
No offense to Crystal Ball,
of our
but
defense
like,
budget has been
I'm
given
so
to
I was
Ukraine.
like for like a
If you
hot
look
3
at the
months, like
percentages per
all
GDP,
about
11 of the European
whatever they were
countries have
called
given
on
more than the
the
US.
Hill
But what's
before they
really
left.
important is go back
And I was
to
like, yeah,
when
this Sagar guy
China
makes some
and
great
Russia
points.
Held hands, shook hands before the Olympics, and named
And then there was like the one day where I realized he on Twitter where he would like make fun of people who smoked weed and said they should go to jail. I thought that was like a bit, and it wasn't a bit. Like he legitimately believes that everyone who smokes weed should go to jail. And I blocked that man ever since.
He wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said, if once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look
You
at
want
what Putin
war.
did
Shut
today.
up.
He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a...
As if America hasn't murdered politicians and people in power. Literally, Donald Trump airstriked one of the, like the, what was it, Iran? Like general or whatever?
Your career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on the
fact of the matter,
and
Boeing came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week,
You want
Nikki.
to go and defund Israel?
Right,
Ron.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you
I'm going to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional.
That's Vivek Ramaswamy. Is the guy on the left, and then Nikki Haley's on the right.
Foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. I have to address that.
Oh, people are standing.
Our relationship with Israel
I think there's a divide here. I think there's. I feel like it's Ramaswamy versus everybody. This debate.
It is a friendship.
And everyone's trying to attack him. But I think it's only going to help him.
Their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies.
He's not defunding.
I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me...
You want to learn...
No, I want to learn from those...
You want to learn what from Israel?
That is the answer.
You want to know how to do apartheid?
Okay, Governor DeSantis,
Is that what you're...
Governor DeSantis, you were mentioned in the territorial dispute. Not only...
No, it's not a territorial dispute
President
either.
of the United States, your first obligation is to defend our country and its people. And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people who are being killed because, well, we're not handling both. And so I am going to declare it a national emergency. I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. When these drug pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border, that's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to use force, and we're going to leave them stone cold dead.
We're actually going to move on to China. We're going to talk
That's some
about
fascist
China.
shit.
Okay.
Governor Burgum.
Build the wall,
China has the
but
biggest
make it
Navy in the world,
people
the
with
biggest army
guns.
in
A
the
lot of
world.
guns.
Now they have warships off the coast of Alaska. They are threatening Taiwan. In coming years, China will have 1,500 nuclear warheads, it's believed. The U.S. just arrested 2 sailors.
Meanwhile, U.S. has like
accused of spying for
200,000 or whatever.
military. So the question is, how
God
would you
forbid the
deter
other side
China
gets a
as
couple.
President Burgum?
Well, this is the #1 issue we're facing.
Rohan, you got to watch out. Canada next, bro.
Like that letting Russia win in Ukraine is like a gimme as opposed to a gift to China.
Better watch
Russia
Lake
has
Ontario.
become China's gas station. But how would we do it?
Watch out for
Biden
the
administration is a
militarized
complete fail.
boats.
China imports 10 million barrels of oil a day, more than any other country in the world. They do not even have all the food they need to feed everybody in that country, so they don't have energy security or food security. But the Biden administration sends Blinken.
What about the environment?
Over there.
Are you talking about the nukes? No,
They're over there.
it's not good for the
They don't even bring
environment.
up energy
Come on.
because they're too busy trying to kill the U.S. energy here. And what we need to do is not meetings, not press releases, because something that would send a lot more than a press release is actually Harpoon missiles. We need anti-ship missiles on Taiwan. The way that you have a war never start, which is the goal, the way you have peace through strength, is
As
that
an
you
upstate
actually
New
have
Yorker
strength. You actually have deterrence.
who lived 2
And
miles
what
from
we
Lake
have
Ontario. I'm like half Canadian, and I'll say if Canada, like Canada, America went to war, Canada all day,
example
baby.
there of Biden's disastrous
I'm fighting
withdrawal
for the
from
Canadians.
Afghanistan, the fact that he green-lighted Putin moving into Ukraine, and then now they see weakness, and when they see weakness, they make a move. And we have to be strong, and we have to be strong both in Ukraine, and we can solve the southern border. Absolutely, we can do that, because guess what? There's only 19,855 authorized people for the Border Patrol, but they're not all staff because the Biden administration doesn't enforce law enforcement. But Biden administration
They do.
wanted to put
ICE
87,000
exists.
people in the IRS.
ICE is as big as
opposed
it
to
has been.
Giving the money and the support we need to our own Border Patrol.
Okay. Senator Scott, on China, that same question.
Can I speak about China?
Let's fire the 87,000 IRS agents and hire or double the number of Border Patrol agents. I just left Yuma, Arizona about 2 weeks ago. The most pressing need of the American people,
like they're not
from a
letting
national
him speak
security
as much.
standpoint, is our southern border. It has led to the death
Surprised how
of
much they've had Chris Christie
70,000
speak, too.
Americans because of fentanyl. Plus 6 million illegal crossings since President Biden has taken office, and 200 people on our national security watch list have been caught at our border. How many have not been caught at our southern border? If we just spend $10 billion, we could finish the wall. For $5 billion
Did y'all see, like, I think it's
we
in
could have
Mexico,
military
or the border of
grade
Mexico,
technology to surveil our
because they
southern
found out
border
that, like,
to
some
stop
people are,
the flow
asylum
of
seekers are trying to
fentanyl
come
and
across the
save
water.
70,000 Americans
So they put out, like,
a
these
year.
These
That
flotation
should be
devices that
the
have literal, like,
priority
saws
of
on
this
them,
government,
so that people would
and as
get
the
cut
next
up if they
president of the
tried
United States,
going
I will
underneath it or
make
over it.
that border wall complete.
There are many more questions on China. I do want to ask about.
I want to say.
Oh, 100%, Rohan. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just the 70,000 from fentanyl. We've lost 200,000 people to overdoses since Biden took
I
office.
wish half the
That's
things they say were
300 people
true.
a day. We're taking mass casualties, and that's a statistic. But these are sons and daughters, nieces and nephews that we're losing. We've got North Dakota troops down there flying night helicopter missions from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop these transnational criminal organizations. They've got better funding on their side than we've got on our side.
Speaking of which, Governor Hutchinson, images from earlier this month, Governor Hutchinson.
What do you mean they have more funding?
Vice President Pence.
We have planes. They don't. It already tells me we have more funding.
Vice President Pence, it really doesn't help. I'm asking a question. Earlier this month, images showed suspected cartel members crossing into Texas with rifles. Do you
2 people.
consider this an invasion?
Uh-oh. There's 2
Would
people.
you authorize lethal force along that border?
There would be lethal force used by the Border Patrol, law enforcement as needed to protect the border.
Because that's
absolutely.
That's always been a great tactic.
The military
that's always
has
not
to be used
escalated
for intelligence
things.
gathering purposes. This is not unusual. Whenever
Then
I
all of a
was
sudden they're
in
in a
the Bush
mistaken.
administration, we went down there. and met
Someone with like an
with
umbrella or
President
something in their hand is a
Vicente
gun,
Fox of
and they're
Mexico
gonna
and ask his help in
shoot
going
him
after the
on
cartels.
accident.
And he looked at me and said, "They're a problem to us as well." And so we joined together and we took down the Ariana Felix brothers leading the Tijuana cartel, and that made a difference. Ramon was shot and killed, and Ben Amin was captured. Cooperation makes a difference. We cannot be successful going against the cartel unless we bring in Mexico as a partner. We have to use economic pressure to accomplish that. President Obrador has not been helpful, and we have to use economic pressure that this administration is not using. The rule of
can
law
we
has to
unalive
matter
people?
on
Yes
both
or no?
sides of it.
Yes.
This is critical.
That's the answer so
I've
far.
done it. We know what needs to be done. The military has to be limited in its use.
I don't know if he's done. This guy seems like he's done some shit. I don't know, good or bad, but
we
he's
had
done
the global
something.
war on terror, and guess what? We protected the border at the same time.
I get
You can
that
do
vibe.
both.
Okay, let's go to Governor DeSantis.
Jarek, you missed
So,
at the
as
start. They were
president,
showing a clip of
would you
Biden
support
like
sending
on the
US
screen
special
at the
forces
debate.
over the
And they had a kid on talking
into
about
Mexico to take out fentanyl labs,
the economy
to
or
take out
something.
drug cartel operations. Would you support that kind of American military?
Fox brought their A game today.
Yes, and I will do it on day one. Here's the thing. The cartels are killing tens of thousands of our fellow citizens. You want to talk about a country
Dude, a
in decline?
Biden and
you have the
DeSantis
cartels
debate
controlling a lot of part of your southern border. We
could go
have
hard.
to
Now that I'm
reestablish
thinking
the
about
rule
it.
of law, and we have to defend our people.
It'd be like
the
two
President of
Muppets
the United
fighting,
States
you know?
has got to use all available powers as commander-in-chief to protect our country and to protect the people. So when they're coming across, yes, we're going to use lethal force. Yes, we reserve the right to operate. How many more tens of thousands are we going to let to die? I am sick. I've met angel moms throughout this country. I met a lady in Texas named Tracy, and her son took one Percocet that was laced with fentanyl, immediately died. That is happening
You see
all
how
across
he-
this country.
You see
because
how
of
he
the
tried to show a
poison
little
that they are
emotion
bringing
there?
in.
Like
So
as if
as
he was about to
president,
cry?
Would I use force? Would I treat them as foreign terrorist organizations? You're darn right.
Thanks for
I
pumping
would.
in, Ron.
You know, Vice President Pence,
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Vice President Pence, why would you be better at this issue than Governor DeSantis?
Yeah, I don't know what he means by
Governor
that.
DeSantis on the campaign trail refers to your administration
Let me
as
look that
not
up.
finishing the wall.
It's probably some racist term.
Look, we secured the southern border of the United States of America and reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%.
In 2000, the organization Angel Moms was founded, a group of mothers whose children had died, not limited to a specific cause. In a second sense, the term was introduced by Donald Trump in August of 2016 at the end of a speech about immigration. He had mothers whose child was killed by an undocumented immigrant coming on stage and tell their
And I have to
story.
tell you with all humility, I was there when we negotiated through the government shutdown and got the funding available to build the wall. I was negotiating on Capitol Hill around the clock. I negotiated the Remain in Mexico policy on behalf of the President of the United States. And Asa, you're so right. It's because we used economic pressure to bring the Mexicans to the table, and they allowed us to have people wait in Mexico while they applied for asylum. It ended asylum abuse overnight. We got the Mexicans to deploy their National Guard to their southern border and to our southern border as never before. And I want to promise you, as President of the United States of America, I will engage Mexico the exact same way, and we will partner with the Mexican military, and we will hunt down and destroy.
He's trying to find that balance that, like, he's going to take credit for some of the stuff, but then also not take credit when it came to negative things.
To this is that almost 7 million
Negative
migrants have crossed this border,
Fox News eyes,
our southern border, during the Biden administration. So, Governor Christie, what would you do about the 7 million who are here? How would you handle them? What would you do?
Look, Martha, the first thing we need to do is to stop any more from coming. That's the first thing we need to do. Then the next thing we need to do with the folks that are here is to, again, as we've talked about all night tonight, we have to have law and order in this country. We have to enforce the law. And what that means is to make sure that people who come here illegally are not rewarded for being here illegally. We have so many wonderful people from around the world who are waiting
like another,
in line, following the law.
The fentanyl thing is just like, to me, an extension of like the war on drugs. Like fentanyl obviously is dangerous.
Because
and has been a problem,
dealt with the problem of the
but it's
folks who are
always,
here.
at least the conservatives' eyes, been a reason to
detained. We have to make sure
increase cop
that they
budgets,
are not rewarded
and also a way as a dog whistle as to talk about the border. They're saying it's coming from the border.
China, we can't take our eye off of that ball. Right. Yes, it's important that we secure the border. Very important, as I just said. But China is sending these chemicals to these drug cartels for them to create the fentanyl that is killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens. The Chinese are engaging in an act of war against us, killing our citizens. We better make that priority one in our conversations with China and to try to straighten that relationship out, because if we don't, we're going to lose more and more of our citizens.
I just want to clarify, would you send those people back?
Of course.
Oh yeah, the crowd's always biased, unfortunately, in primaries. It's usually based off who's more popular
Next up, we're
in the
going
polls.
to talk about the crisis in education.
Oh
as
boy.
Millions of American children are not proficient in reading or math after this.
Yeah, because they're too busy watching Fox News. That's why. Getting dumber. All right, another break. There's been a lot of breaks. What time is it?
Looking forward to the topic of education.
So it's probably only have to be a half hour left.
I think we've got it.
All right, let's look at our awards again. I'm going to say it. I think, at least after this last break here, I think Pence won this chunk. And now I'm feeling more like Pence is winning this debate. Like he's somehow cutting through the booze, a little bit of the booze he got. You know.
So everyone looked at everybody else except for Vivek, and then on the
Are you leaving, Jarek? See ya.
Was the first one up.
Have a good night.
One up except for a half hand of DeSantis. We're showing the video right now. There it is. Oh, look up. Ron goes, "You're up. I'm up." Yep. Chris. Will, what do you make of this block of the debate?
But so yeah, I feel like Pence is, for me, kind of winning this debate. Ramaswamy, I feel like, did worse off in that last chunk, or he's been kind of quiet, I guess. Loser.
Conversation with him afterwards. I'm kind of scrolling online during the debate, and he is divisive. There are a lot of people that think he's a little too cocky, that he's being the class.
I don't know. I mean, for me, like the loser, I guess. I'm feeling Nikki Haley. I just feel like she's so, I guess, moderate. The more moderate than I thought it would be. I mean, she did fire back a little bit, though.
I also think Ron DeSantis avoided the question.
Chris Christie's got a lot of booze, though. Does that make him the loser?
Looking backward to January 6th, we have to be looking forward to.
I figured you were memeing, sweet. Yeah. But that's definitely like a thing that I've heard from on more right-wing news, right? Is that it's all part of a big scheme. Most crazy statement, I still think it's Ramaswamy. With that, just the way he delivered that statement of burn, frack, and expand nuclear was pretty good. But I guess is it like crazy? I mean, it's like just the way he delivered it just made it sound even crazier. I mean, it is crazy, but I guess what was the other one that I mean, DeSantis did have or not DeSantis, was it
real quick, Tammy, that exchange on foreign policy between Haley and Vivek was really interesting. Also,
was it who was it that said that we need to Yeah, it was DeSantis. I'm blanking for a second there. DeSantis wanted to bring military force to the border. That is a pretty crazy statement.
With the Republicans, clearly he's loved. I mean, this is a man who's delivered. We see what he's accomplished. And Mike Pence, it's kind of amusing to see him effectively.
Oh, Joe Biden tweeted?
In many ways, with what
Let's
Trump
see.
accomplished. And there's this patronizing attitude, which seems very
Is it on
old
POTUS?
swamp. And I think that's a problem. So I
Or is
think
personal?
that, as I predicted in the beginning, the strength of Nikki Haley's foreign policy experience. I know you guys seem to like Vivek, and I was kind of, open-minded in this regard.
They all voted to raise the debt, and Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt, and our kids are never going to forgive us for this. You have
Nice. Climate change is real, by the way.
It's a fair point.
You know, is Joe even up right now, dude? You think he's even up right? He's sleeping right now. It's what? 10:36 Eastern time. He's probably laying in bed right now on his phone, scrolling TikTok. Is this the start or the end? I think there's around a half hour left, give or take.
The nation's report card was the weakest
Oh, we're back.
for American school children, exposing chronic
I think it's the last half. Who will
deep
take
declines,
some of these
for
awards?
reading and math for 15
Oh, yeah, I know people tweet out the half. Yeah, of course.
Governor DeSantis, you would eliminate.
But
you
I
said,
like the idea that he's not
Department
even
of
watching. He
Education.
doesn't give a shit.
But as president, would you still have a responsibility to fix this crisis as we see it?
Absolutely. The decline in education is one of the major reasons why our country is in decline. We need education in this country, not indoctrination in this country. And in Florida, we stood up for
Right.
what was right first. We
Because
had
what you're doing in
schools
Florida is
open.
not
A lot of the
indoctrination.
problems that we've seen
Banning
are
any
because these
conversation
lockdown
about
states
slavery
lock their kids out of school for
or any
a
education
year
about
and a half.
slavery
That was
is
wrong.
not
We stood up.
indoctrination.
I took
Right.
a lot of fire for that. I was pilloried by the media, but I stood for our kids. And as president, I'll stand for you and your kids as well.
It's gonna be scary when
But
there's
we
gonna be
have
kids
to make
growing up
sure
in the next 30
that
years.
What our schools are
who will
doing
be
is
like,
focusing
if
on
you told them that
solid
slavery happened, they're
academics.
gonna be like,
in
no, it
Florida,
didn't.
we eliminated critical race theory
Yeah,
from our K
PragerU.
through
They're
12
showing
schools.
PragerU videos.
We eliminated gender
And some of them are fucking
ideology
scary,
from our K
dude.
through 12 schools. And we have elevated the importance of American civics and teaching our kids about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Fuck the Constitution. I'm
As
teaching my kid
president,
to
I'm gonna
say
lead
fuck
an
the
effort
Constitution.
to increase civic understanding and knowledge of our Constitution. We cannot be graduating students that don't have any foundation in what it means to be an American.
Mr. Ramaswamy, Mr. Ramaswamy, hold on, Senator Scott. You've said that the Department of Education, the FBI, the ATF, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the IRS, the Department of Commerce, many of these should not exist.
That's correct.
So to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that, frankly, every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country. And the fact of the matter is, look, there's a part of education policy that also rests with the family. I didn't grow up in money, but you know the word privilege gets used a lot. Well, you know what? I did have
He's
the
so
ultimate
fascist.
privilege
I can't,
of
like,
two
it's
parents in the
crazy.
house with a focus on education.
He's so much more
achievement.
explicitly
And I want every
fascist.
kid to enjoy that. So part of the problem is we also have a federal government that pays
One
single
of the
women
PragerU
more
videos,
not
Christopher
to have a
Columbus
man
said
in the
being
house
being
than to have a man in the
enslaved is
house,
better than being
contributing
killed.
to an
I think I
epidemic
saw
of
that too. Yeah,
fatherlessness.
just
And I
fucking
think that goes hand in glove
crazy.
with the education crisis as well, because we have to remember education starts with
So
the
much
family,
whitewashing.
and the nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
Yeah, we love
Haley has said
the nuclear
Governor
family.
Haley
You know,
has said
2
that
kids and a
biological boys playing in
wife and
girls'
husband.
sports is the women's issue of our time.
Oh, here it
You
goes.
said that even though you signed a ban on this in North Dakota, that there hadn't been one instance where it was actually needed.
Right.
Are you saying that
Right.
you think that too much is made of this issue?
Yes.
No, I'm saying in North
Yes.
Dakota we made a priority
It's
of
stupid.
protecting women's sports, and we've done that
You don't.
in our state.
None of you watch women's
but I
sports.
would absolutely do that. But I do think when we start talking about education and we think that we're going to have a federal government one size fits all, we're just completely losing track of the fact that education differs by states. Some school districts are doing a fantastic job, some less so. But the idea that every school district in the state and every teacher is somehow
He's on.
indoctrinating people is just
He did an
false.
interview with Tucker
You know, when I was
Carlson. I don't know
building a
how long it
company from
is.
scratch,
We're not going to
with
watch it
small town
tonight.
kids, and we went,
But
grew up in a town of
it went
300.
live,
We
I
built
guess,
a
when
global
the
company
debate started
in 132
on Twitter.
countries with over 100,000 customers. We listened to those customers. We spent time with them. We talked to them. We did that. And as governor,
Name
well,
10 women
education's one of the
athletes
biggest
right
part of the
now.
state budget.
That's
So
always
as
my
a
response to
governor,
this.
I
Name
go, I
10 women
shadow a
athletes if
student.
you
I
give
go
a
the
shit
night before,
about
I
women's
find out
sports
the
so
students-
much.
the student
Name
finds out,
10
I'm gonna
women
go to every
athletes.
class with them. I don't sit
Don't
and
say your
lecture school
fucking
districts
daughter
how to
or
do it.
some
I
dumb
go and see
shit.
the experience, and there's a lot of things that have to change. But what needs to change in education is
I honestly, I couldn't even name 10.
We're doing it the same
But I
way
don't
we did it
give a
50
shit.
years ago with innovation, not
It's stupid.
regulation. I would get rid
They're
of
making
the
an
Department
issue out of
Education. I would give block grants
a
to schools,
situation
but I'd
that's
give them
happened
on merit based on who's
like
doing the most
3
innovative. I just
times
got
in the
done holding
entire
7th annual
United States.
Governors Conference on Innovation Education. You should
And
see
it's in-
what the
and
people
it's
are
in-
doing when you
and
get
then
cut
most of
loose
the times
the
they're not
red
even
tape,
winning
take
anything.
The burden off their back. They care. Teachers in this country.
There was the one issue with the one controversy with the swimmer, and the swimmer finished like 6 out of 10. It's not like they won and dominated.
This is the women's issue of our time.
First, I'll tell you, as
And this
you
is
know,
where Nikki Haley
as
is
a parent, the
fucking
one thing you
really
want is for your
shitty.
child to have a better life than you did. And we can talk about all of these things, and there's a lot of crazy
This
woke
is so,
things
like,
happening in schools, but
demonizing.
we've got to get these kids reading. If a child can't read by 3rd grade, they're 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So we need to make sure we bring in reading remediation all over this country. We need transparency in the classroom because parents should never
And
have
when do you
to
want
wonder
them to
what's
read the
being said
Constitution? That
or
shit's
taught to their
boring.
children in the
No kids are going to
classroom.
read the Constitution.
Parents need to be deciding which schools their kids go to.
They're going to
because
hate
they
reading
know
because you're
best.
going to make them
And
read
let's put
fucking
vocational
boring-ass
classes back
conservative
into the
shit
high schools. Let's teach our kids
instead
to
of
build
cool shit
things
like To
again.
Kill a Mockingbird.
When we do that and we allow that innovation, that's when it'll get back. And yes, I will always say I'm going to fight for girls all day long because strong girls become strong women become strong leaders, and biological boys don't belong in the locker rooms
Fuck
of any
you.
of our girls.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck
The
you.
lightning round, and the first question is going to go to you, Vice President. So this is a lightning round of questions.
Oh, boy.
30-second answers, please.
It's not lightning,
President
30
Biden will
seconds?
be 82 years old on Inauguration Day. Nearly 70% of Americans say that he is too old to serve. Should presidents have to pass a mental and physical test in order
They
to
should do
serve?
Ultimate
Vice
Ninja Warrior,
President
in my
Pence?
opinion.
Well, it might be a good idea to have everybody in Washington, D.C. pass a mental and... Look, 30 seconds, no. The American
But what
people
would the
can make
mental
those
health? What
judgments.
would the
But let me
mental
say,
test even
I'm
be?
running
Like,
for
what are you
president of the
testing
United
for?
States 'cause
Cognitive
we
function,
don't
like
need a president
memory,
who's
like
too old, and we don't need a president who's too young. We need a president who's been there. We need a president who knows how Congress works, how the White House works.
Because shit, I got tested
how
for
states
ADHD
work,
earlier
on
this year,
education
and
issue, Martha,
some of
I
the
was fighting
things I
against
failed
No
were
Child Left
embarrassing.
Behind when Republicans were doubling the Department of Education. I'll also shut down the federal Department of Education. And when I was governor, we doubled the size of the largest school choice program in America. And we give
IQ
school
doesn't.
choice to every
IQ is already a
family
flawed
in
system.
America
So
when I'm in the White House.
This is a lightning round, Mr. Ramaswamy.
It's
I
IQ
think
doesn't
you were
mean you're
mentioned
smart.
There, you're 38. You're the youngest on the stage. You've said, and you just
Just
said you
say-
want a
it's
civics
just more of the
test or
ability
public service
to
for those
learn
under
things
25 to be able to
quicker
vote.
and
So
efficiently.
the question is, do you want a mental acuity test for presidents over 75?
I believe in the people of this country to tell the difference between somebody who's an automaton and somebody who's actually a thinking agent in the White House, which we don't have in there today. And I will tell you, I want to address Vice President Pence's comment. I think we do need somebody of a different generation to lead this nation forward. Look at the way I've run this campaign. Going to the south side of Chicago, to Kensington. In the
I just know IQ, a lot of it's
traditional Republican candidates don't go. We have an opportunity to build a
there's also people who aren't good test
working-class
takers,
majority to
like
deliver a
myself.
landslide, and I think I'm the only candidate in this race, young or old,
Granted,
black
I'm
or
not
white,
smart.
to bring all of
You know what
those
I mean?
voters along to deliver a Reagan 1980 revolution. We're going to do it in 2024.
Same question to you, Governor.
In a presidential election until 2020.
I will answer that. I will answer that.
30 seconds.
30-second quick answer.
You guys need to get control of this debate.
Everybody's going to get a chance to get
Listen,
control
we're
of this
getting.
debate.
He wants to bring back Ronald Reagan. It's
This is a
fucking
lightning
crazy.
round, not rolling thunder. Governor Hutchinson, you have 30 seconds on the same question.
On education, first of all, look at Arkansas. We have to compete with China. I built computer science education. We led the nation in computer science education, going from 1,100 students to 23,000 students taking it. This is how
When I
you
did the
compete
test for
with
autism,
China.
that shit is
As
confusing.
President
Yeah, I
of the
basically
United
did like
States,
a
I will make sure we
all-encompassing
go from
one.
51%
So
of
like
our
what
schools
like
offering computer science to
I
every
went
school in
initially
rural
for like
areas and
ADHD,
urban
but they
areas
tested
offering
everything,
computer
like
science
autism
for the
and
benefit
all
of our
that.
kids, and we can.
It
compete
turns
with
out I
China
do not have
in terms
ADHD.
of technology.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just
This is coming to
very
you.
bad at math
We're trying to
and
do a quick round of different
specific
topics here. So,
things
Senator
with
Scott,
memory.
Faith is on decline in this country. You talked about.
They're like,
it
your
a little
memory
bit
is below
before
average,
tonight.
and I'm like,
So is there a
thanks for
role
validating
for
me,
a president of
at
the
least.
United States in changing that? What would you do?
I have more of
to
an
change
excuse.
that?
Well, our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that has made this the greatest nation on God's green earth. I'm a big believer in Ephesians 3:20 that God is able to do
Thank you,
exceedingly
Jesus.
abundantly above all that we ask or imagine. Our responsibility should be to model the behavior we want others to follow. On education,
Yeah, I learned that with
the only way we
numbers,
change
I can
education in this
do.
nation is to break the
I can do like
backs of the
sets of
teachers'
3
unions.
numbers,
They are
easy.
standing
Once you get
in
to
the
4 or
doorhouse
5,
of
or
our
have to do
kids,
reverse order or anything like that,
locking them
I am
into
dog
failing
shit.
schools and locking them out.
That's why I need to write
of
shit
the
down
greatest
all the
future
time, especially
they could
numbers.
As President, Governor DeSantis, would you support some mandatory military service for all Americans?
I think it should be voluntary. I'm somebody that volunteered to serve, inspired by
God.
September 11th, and I deployed to Iraq alongside U.S. Navy SEALs in places like Fallujah, Ramadi, and it's something that
They'll
I
be
think
critical
has
of like
taught
North
me,
Korea,
when you
like, or
go
whatever
in
the
that
fuck,
type
whatever
of
country that
anything you
has
have,
forced
your
military
personal
service. They'll be
agenda, you
critical
check
of
it at
that,
the
but
door.
then
you go there,
we're having this
and it's about
conversation right now.
focusing on the mission above all else. And guys come together.
If I was forced
and
to
they
be in the
get it
military, I'm
done.
going to
And
jail.
that's how I
Straight
would
up.
view being the president of the United States. It's not about me. It's not about all these other side issues. My sole focus will be on your future and reversing this country's decline.
Okay, now for something a little out of this world, and this is for you.
Here we
Governor
go. What's
Christie,
your
do you
favorite
believe that
color?
The recent spike in UFO encounters.
Oh my god.
I get the UFO question?
Yeah, you do.
Come on, man.
Are they gonna ask if aliens
we've
are
been hearing
real?
We've been hearing a lot of testimony in Congress, and people are taking this a lot more
Oh, my
seriously.
God.
And we're hearing that, there are things going on that people aren't aware of. So, if you were president, Governor Christie, would you level with the American people about what the government knows about these possible
Martha,
encounters?
and especially coming from a woman from New Jersey, I think it's horrible that just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects and Martians.
Is that a
we're
thing?
different, but we're not that different. Look, of course, the job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything. The job of the President of the United States
listen, I'm
is
all
to
for like,
stand
I'm all
for
pro
truth.
like UFO,
The
alien
job of the
shit. I
President
love
of the
that
United
shit.
States
Fucking
is to
love
be
that
a
shit.
role model for our children and our
But
grandchildren.
imagine that being your only reason you're voting. You're like, hey, this guy said he'd let me know if aliens are real. Fuck it, I'm voting. Like, I'd be like, come on.
2010 by going right after the teachers' unions in New Jersey and drove them down to an all-time low popularity rating because they were putting themselves before our kids. That is the biggest threat to our country, not UFOs.
Okay. Well, coming up, we've got closing arguments, plus right after
another
the debate,
break.
Hannity is live from the spin
Oh,
room
great.
right here in the Fiserv Forum with reaction from all the
Everyone's
candidates.
favorite guy.
As soon as they step off the stage, we'll be back.
It's idealistic, but he's clearly lying. Yeah, of course. Okay, even if he wasn't lying,
Well, the lightning round turned into the thunder round.
The people who do know if aliens exist or not, or if they were aliens, whatever, you bet their ass they're telling them, like, if you fucking say anything,
Tammy, anything change in your mind watching that?
you won't wake up tomorrow. You won't wake up tomorrow. You and your entire family, everyone you know, won't wake up tomorrow. What's up, Bryn? Hello, hello.
I don't think there's a lot of disagreements.
All right, let's look back at our awards here. We have debate winner, debate loser, and most crazy statement.
Not even really about transgenderism, but there's agreement.
Debate winner, man. I'm still tossed up on this. I feel like Mike Pence is crushing it. I feel like Mike Pence is crushing it. Like, surprisingly, if we had a most surprising award, I'm not opposed to adding it, I guess, but I feel like 3 awards is pretty solid. I don't want to go, too deep in the weeds with this. I feel like, he really, like, I wasn't expecting him to do well in this debate or really do anything. I thought he was going to be pretty boring, but he's been aggressive. He's been competent sounding.
He comes off as a natural.
And Ramaswamy, I think, in the first half of this debate was crushing it. I think he was really bringing his game, being, being charismatic, saying crazy shit, don't get me wrong, but being charismatic, getting a lot of cheers. And Pence has got a little bit of views, got a little bit of Jesus Christ, booze. So for me right now, I feel like it's Pence right now, just by a little bit.
Sean, your take, real quick.
Tim Scott, Chris Christie got the answer right in education. It's a teacher union problem, but maybe a little.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about aliens. I mean,
we're pumping out all these woke teachers right now.
One of the streamers I watch who's rated this channel a couple times, DJ Mule. Shout out to DJ Mule, really cool streamer. You should go follow him on Twitch. He does a lot of political stuff too. And his thing is, like, he believes that aliens are all communists, and that's the real reason they don't want to talk about them, is because they would fundamentally not just change our worldview, but also be like, fuck, communism does work. Yeah, I think for the debate winner here, I think it's Mike Pence. It's crazy. I'm saying that. But I feel like he's just gone above and beyond what my expectations were for him, and he's somehow found that middle ground of being, a little bit of anti-Trump, but taking credit for Trump when he can. He's attacked Ramaswamy. He's attacked DeSantis. And Ramaswamy was good in the first half, but in the second half, I feel like he's been kind of quiet, or he hasn't been doing as well. The debate loser, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm still on Nikki Haley. I think Nikki Haley's been just kind of. A lot of what she's saying, I feel like, is too moderate compared to everyone else. And yeah, I feel like she hasn't got much cheers. Besides, I think that one moment she had. But no, like, I don't know. She just kind of isn't hitting it for me. But also, DeSantis has been kind of just boring, and I feel like that, in a way, makes him a loser too, because he is currently the front runner out of the people on the stage, and he's not really delivering.
Not only to take the punch, which he has, but I feel
like he's intentionally being quiet because his team told him not to get argumentative. Yeah, I mean, his debate strategy did leak, and I feel like he's kind of following it. His passive aggressive laugh is cringe. Yeah. So I feel like I think it's DeSantis, unless because Nikki Haley's been kind of shitty, like I said, kind of like lived up almost.
Is it personal or is it some
but like the expectations for her are a little bit different compared to DeSantis, who is the front runner and his goal should be dominating the debate, to build up the lead a little more and showing everyone else that they're scrums and it's only me and Trump as the serious contenders here. And he's not doing that. So maybe it's him right now. Most crazy statement, I think, is either DeSantis with we need to send the military to the border and don't be afraid to use weapons. Shoot to kill. But he didn't deliver it as in a crazy way. You know what I mean? He just said it in his normal way. And if you're not paying attention enough, maybe it doesn't hit you. But I still like that Ramaswamy first.
In Simi Valley, California, we'll see you there next month when our colleagues at Fox Business host the next 2024 showdown.
September 27th.
Business is partnering with Univision, the Reagan Foundation.
I think that Ramaswamy
bring you the second
Burn,
Republican
frack, and
presidential
nuclear.
debate on
That
September
statement was good.
27th. It looks
He
pretty
had it. He delivered it in a, like a
20 years
crazy
ago,
fascist way,
70% of American
and it was a
adults
crazy
said
statement.
they
So
were extremely proud to be an American. That number has now
yeah,
plummeted
David. Yeah,
to just 39%.
it sucks.
In
That's
his
how it
pitch
works.
to get
But
to the Oval
and
Office,
if you're
President
the
Reagan
leader, if
called
you think you are the
America
leader, you got to
shining
act like
city
it.
on
You know
a
what I mean?
hill, a
You got to
beacon of
own the
hope
debate.
and optimism.
So in your closing statement tonight, please tell American voters why you are the person who can inspire this nation to a better day. These are 45 seconds, and we begin with Governor Burgum.
I understand why America's hurting. Biden's inflation is choking us.
Bro, give me your money.
I grew up in a small town.
You have $1 billion
My dad died
in
when I
their
was freshman in
bank
high school.
account. Give it to me.
My mom, widow of 3, went back to work.
Yeah, he also
Every job
did. He
I
say he
had
wanted to
growing up
invade? He wanted to do
was
some
one
sort
where I
of.
took a shower at the end of the day.
He
not at the
basically
beginning of the day.
wanted to send military to the border, which is
our
crazy.
cities are less safe because of the fentanyl pouring into this country. Our economy is being crushed by Biden's energy policies, which are raising the cost of every product you buy, not just the gasoline at the pump. One thing that I'll do as president, I'll secure the border. I'll get this economy sprinting, not crawling like it is right now. And I would say that other thing is for sure, when I'm on a horseback in the Badlands of North Dakota, it looks like the horizon is just limitless. And when you can almost see beyond that horizon, you can see that this great country, our future is unlimited. But we've got to focus on innovation,
There's some
not
manifest
regulation.
destiny bullshit
We've got to
right
cut the
there.
red tape. We've got to drive ourselves forward. The way we win the Cold War with China is by growing our economy
Oh,
and through innovation.
we are in a Cold War now?
And as president, I will bring out the best of America. I will improve every American life.
5 out of 10.
Back on your horse soon, Governor.
5 out of 10.
Governor Hutchinson?
You got 2 bells, yeah.
Our nation
That
is
knocks
in
them.
trouble, and it's in trouble because of failed leadership. And the solution is not 4 more years of Joseph Biden. The solution is not
Joseph
4 more
Robinette
years of
Biden.
Donald Trump.
Say his full name.
The solution is new leadership that can bring bold ideas to America and to bring out the best of America. A president's #1 responsibility is to bring out the best of our people. That's what Ronald Reagan did. And he did it with optimism and hope for our country, with a consistent conservatism.
Rest in piss.
That's exactly what I bring. As president, I'll bring out the best of America in terms of individual responsibility, building our economy, in terms of securing our border, enforcing the rule of law. I'll bring out the best of America in terms of our national character, our faith, and our hope for the future. Join in this fight.
Again?
ACE2024.com.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
Thank you. I was a disillusioned young man growing up in a single-parent household, mired in poverty. I wondered if the American dream was real for a kid like me. I can stand before you today and say the dream is alive, it is well,
But I
and
thought
it
it
is
wasn't
healthy.
under Biden.
I had the good
Now you're
fortune of a
contradicting
mom who worked
yourself.
16-hour days,
Or at least your
making sure we
party
had
is.
food on our tables. She taught me that if you're able-bodied in America, you work.
It's okay,
You take out
Ryro. A
loan,
lot of
you
people
pay it
love
back.
Ronald Reagan.
You commit a violent crime, you
Unfortunately.
go to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men. I'm Tim Scott.
Did he just fucking...
I'm asking you for your vote, and if you're in Iowa, I'm
You say if
asking
you go to jail,
caucus
you're
for me.
playing sports
you can
against
go to
men?
votetimscott.com
That's fucking
for
unhinged.
more information or to make a contribution.
Did he just...
Governor Christie.
What?
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Martha. Look, everybody on this stage wants to be the next president of the United States. And the only way that's going to happen is if we beat Joe Biden. I'm the only one on this stage who's ever beaten a Democratic incumbent in an election. I did it in a deep blue state, being outspent 3-1. Beating a Democratic incumbent is not easy. The last Democratic incumbent president who was defeated was Jimmy Carter. And he was defeated by a conservative governor from a blue state who knew how to get results, who stood for the truth, who cared about accountability, and stood strong and hard against waste. Those are the very things that I did in my 8 years as governor of New Jersey, and it's exactly what I'll do as president of the United States.
It's so funny
Believe
that
me,
Republican Party
the Democrats
people always compare
want
themselves to Ronald Reagan.
some other nominee who's
and then
never
in the
beaten a
Democrat Party, they always
incumbent.
compare themselves to FDR.
I'm the one who can win this race, and if you give me the chance, I will restore our country by winning it.
Thank you. Governor Haley.
I'll give him an 8 out of 10 on that one.
Several
That's
weeks
fine.
ago, I dropped my husband, Michael, a combat veteran from Afghanistan. off at 4 a.m. for another year-long deployment. I watched him and 230 soldiers pick up their 2 duffel bags of belongings to go to a country they had never been, all in the name of protecting America. If they are willing to protect us from there, we should be willing to fight for America here. I will beat Joe Biden, and he knows that. I will strengthen our economy, and we'll bring this inflation down. We will put transparency in the classroom. We will secure our borders. We will have the backs of our law enforcement, and we will make sure we have a strong national security. And once again, we will make sure we have an America that is strong and proud. We have a country to save. Join us. Go to NikkiHaley.com, and let's get it done.
Vice President Pence.
I think it's like a 7-2.
Thank you, Brad and Martha.
If I'm putting on a Republican,
it's an honor to be
conservative
Joe
curve.
Biden has weakened America at home and abroad. The disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, their war on energy, runaway spending that launched the worst inflation in 40 years, a crisis at our southern border, an assault on our values and liberties, and the American people have had enough. But I know we can bring it back. But different times call for different leadership. The Republican Party owes the American people the choice. Proven leadership at the national level that knows how to move a conservative agenda forward. We proved in the Trump-Pence years you can turn this country around faster than you can imagine. And I have faith we will again. Because I have faith in the American people. The good, decent, hardworking, faith-filled, idealistic people of this country. And I have faith that God is not done with America yet. And if we will renew our faith in one
Let me
another
know when God
and
is
renew
done.
our faith in Him who has ever guided
Does he move on to
this
another
nation
country?
since we arrived on these wilderness shores, I know the best days for the greatest nation on earth are yet to come.
Wilderness
Thank you. Mr. Ramaswamy.
Fuck off.
I was born in 1985, and I grew up into a generation where we were taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways we are really just the same as Americans, bound by a common set of ideals that set this nation into
If
motion
God is
in
pro-America,
1776.
then fuck God.
And this is our moment to revive those common ideals. God is real. There are 2 genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution, it is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024. Thanks for letting me introduce myself tonight. Thank you.
He's so fascist. It's fucking crazy. You can thank Donald Trump for him. Just making it totally okay to say everything he just said.
Governor?
This is our time for choosing. We will send Joe Biden back to his basement, and we will reverse the decline of this country. I'm a blue-collar kid. I work minimum wage jobs to be able to make ends
lives
meet.
in his mom's
I
basement.
understand the importance of the American dream, and I know how that slipped away from so many millions of Americans. Will restore it. I'm a veteran who served in Iraq. I know what it means to put service above
What's the
self.
homeless population
I'm also a dad
here? You
and a
mean in
husband,
like Wisconsin where this
6'5" and
debate
3-year-old.
is?
I understand the importance of protecting parents' rights
Probably the average.
and the well-being of our children. In Florida, we showed it could be done.
you have like Green
I made
Bay and stuff, the
promises, and I
cities there.
delivered
That's where
on
a lot
all
of
of those
homeless
promises. 2024 is make or break.
In the major
We're not
cities?
getting a mulligan. No excuses. I will get the job done, and as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you all.
The U.S.? I'm not sure.
Well, we want to say thank
Look
you.
it up.
Thank you to all the candidates on the stage tonight, and thank you to Milwaukee.
Wait, what?
Thank you, everybody. We will see you on the campaign trail.
That was everybody?
From debates to
Miscounted.
primaries to the general election and the conventions before that. Thanks for joining us. Sean Hannity from the Spin Room starts right now.
Take it away, Sean.
Take it away, Sean.
They're estimated about
There you
582,000
go.
Americans
I think they meant
experiencing
to
homelessness in
take it away
2022.
on Fox Nation, but oh no, there's Sean right there. He's doing his show right
All
here,
right.
right next to us in the spin
Well,
room.
that was actually, I really liked that one. More than I thought I would. I thought it was going to be kind of boring, to be honest. I thought I was going to have to really, like, try to hype this shit up. But even without Trump, it was actually pretty entertaining. I mean, you have I think because you have someone like Ramaswamy who's crazy, attacking everybody, and everyone's attacking him. And then you had, I think Mike Pence was surprising, like I said, and then Christie wasn't too bad. Everyone else was kind of forgettable, to be honest. Should we watch Trump's talk with Tucker Carlson? How long is it? What time is it? It's already 9 o'clock my time. Let me look. Tucker Carlson. I can't spell his name. It's not. That is definitely not him. Where's Tucker? No, it's the C, right? There it is. I think it's 40 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if I have time for that. 46 minutes? Yeah, that's a we can do a whole stream on that, I think. We can definitely do a whole stream on that. I'm just trying to think of when. I'm trying to think of the rest of my schedule for this week. Because there might be a chance tomorrow if I'm not recording my podcast tomorrow. And I think, is there something happening Friday? I don't think so. I don't know, but we're not watching it tonight. Sorry. No, Trump just didn't want to do the debates. Yeah, and then it's always. I think the Tucker leak logs things. Maybe it was a way of them, making amends. But I mean, yeah, the trailer is hype. I'm actually hyped for this. I still think I'd prefer Trump on the debate. Maybe after watching this, I don't know, but. All right, let's give out the awards though. In a way, I feel like it's either just look at everybody again, because I mean Ramaswamy had the most crazy things like in total. And that first one with the fracking, burning, and nuclear or whatever was good, like very good for him for the crazy statement award. But then Scott casually dropped that at the end there, saying that like trans women going to jail will be sent to men jails where they can play sports there, which also feels like low-key like a rape joke, which is fucked up. So I feel like it could be him right at the end there, like just getting that. But then Ramaswamy in his closing, his whole closing was crazy. Like he like his whole closing was like, there's two genders. We need to get rid of the Department of Education. We need to burn fossil fuel. Fossil fuel is what? He said fossil fuels is a requirement of the human condition, which is crazy. He says capitalism lifts us up. He's just going after everyone on the far left and just liberals in general. Did he say biological play sports men? But then he says something about jail. Maybe I misinterpreted it. I think it's Ramaswamy though. I don't know about y'all. Most crazy statement. He had multiple crazy crazy statements. I feel like it's Ramaswamy still for this one. Do folks have any like other arguments? Was there anything else I missed for the most crazy statement? You think it's Sammy? How many people are probably Googling his name right now? It fucking scares me to think about. I like I said, I think he's dangerous. Let me get a good photo of him. This works. This better be a goddamn image. Thank you. With the power of Canva. Downloads. Yeah, we have the most crazy statement award. Boom. Damn, I just realized I don't have like a text anywhere for their names. Fuck. I'm probably not gonna post this today, so maybe I'll fine tune it. But let's at least get the awards down, then I'll post it sometime tomorrow. No, I'm not putting that. I'm trying to think of where I would put it. I probably could fit it up here and then maybe move this somewhere else. Like I can probably put this, maybe put it up here. I'll figure it out. All right, who is the debate loser? I think it's DeSantis. I think my mind's made up because he had. It's not totally fair, but this is the game we're playing, which is if you're supposedly above the crowd, above the pack. I think he needs to do better. That's where I'm feeling. Because no one else is really sticking out to me as a sore thumb. The only other person I can think of is Chris Christie. And for these awards, you kind of take the politics out of it, in the sense of like what your personal politics are, right? Because obviously I disagree with like 100% of everyone who said anything during this debate, outside of getting rid of the FBI, but not for the reasons I'd want to get rid of it. Because Chris Christie was the only one that got like boos, like big time boos, multiple times. So I guess that could make him a loser. But DeSantis, I go back to, is just that he had he has higher expectations because he supposedly is a threat to Trump, or at least he was at the beginning of this year. He got booed for being anti-Trump. Yeah. This is tough. I feel like it's between DeSantis and Christie, but I feel like it's DeSantis for me. Just because of the reason I said, which is just that he has a higher bar he needs to hit. He should be winning these debates if he's a serious front runner. And he didn't really win this debate. So does that make him a loser? The biggest loser? I feel like the least memorable one loses. But my expectations are different for them. You know what I mean? Because if that was the case, it'd be it's always going to be the person who doesn't get to speak. That's not their fault. That's the people picking the questions. I feel like if you're getting booed a lot, that's not a good thing. In the sense of winning the debate. Whether or not they're right or not right. You know what I mean? We can come back to this one. But who do we think won? I think it's freaking Mike Pence. I feel like the billionaire guy won't even be remembered. But he's already polling like less than 1%. Like I think if we base it off the not memorable people can't lose, they can only win. Right. Is that fully fair? Who cares? This is just for fun anyways. But I don't know, for me it's just like the higher the expectations, the more reason you need to meet them. Like it's different than like for example, if we're comparing it to like sports, right? LeBron James has different expectations from a general fan point of view than the backup point guard on the Lakers. You know what I mean? And if, let's say, LeBron doesn't meet his expectations or doesn't exceed expectations, people would say his season is a dud. But in the backup point guard, I mean, if he doesn't play all season, no one's going to care because he's the backup point guard. And that's why I think DeSantis is the loser for that reason. But debate winner, I think it's Mike Pence. I think he was the most consistent throughout. He fought through some of the boos, and he came out swinging. We were not expecting that. I would have gave it to Ramaswamy if he was in the second half more consistent. He was really strong in the first half. Him and Pence were dealing it out. Then it was him and Christie. So I think it's Pence. Unless someone has like a huge opinion otherwise. I think it's Pence because he was the most consistent and he was more surprising. Like, I'm curious what this is going to do for the polls for him. You don't feel Pence won? Why? I need a picture of him anyways, probably. This one's fine. Like, who do you like? I feel like if it isn't Pence, you have to give a different person, and then why? Because his points are getting silent reactions. I guess that's kind of fair. But he was on the offensive, and he got like the crowd riled up. Where's my downloads? There it is. I don't know. For me, like winning a debate, you have to be consistent throughout, and I think he was. And then you're not going to get everybody every single time. But if he got him riled up in the wrong reasons, he would have been booed every time he spoke from here on out. Like Christie was, for the most part. Man, this is tough. It doesn't help that there's so many more people. I think it's Pence winner. The other loser I could think of is Nikki Haley, but like she was just whatever. Like it wasn't in like a bad way. Like not like she wasn't like getting boos, but she also wasn't like moving the needle. I think there's a vibe too. If you can move the needle, I think that's good. DeSantis didn't move the needle. Yeah. Really, this should be debate biggest loser. If you want to be specific, like who really lost this whole thing. For me, it's DeSantis because of the expectations. Like, I think if you're DeSantis, you have to move the needle. And him being, like, fine, I think moves the needle in a negative way. He did get some cheers, but he should be, like, his goal should have been to get cheers, everything. He should have been on the offensive. He really wasn't. That's what I like about Pence. I think he was offensive, and it surprised me, and I think he should be rewarded for that. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling. Because who knows? In the second debate, if Pence is still doing that, maybe I wouldn't have the same answer for you, because then that becomes the expectation. I think a winner, part of being a winner is exceeding expectations, and that's why I'm Pence. I think I'm like 70% Pence, then 30% Ramaswamy. But going in, I had expectations for Ramaswamy too, and I feel like he kind of disappeared in the second half. I think this debate could have changed DeSantis' trajectory negatively. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. If you feel like it helped your campaign, then that's a win. I think this will help move Pence up. I think Ramaswamy is also going to get points for this debate too, for sure. But I think I just liked that Pence came out of nowhere. I think I'm settled on this. I think it's DeSantis. If we can't come to a clear-cut one, I think we just go with what feels the most right. Because I hear it though, that like, you know, Nikki lost. I'd hear Christie too, but just like the expectations. He's like LeBron James if LeBron James disappeared in a playoff game when you need him to, when you need him to show up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, this just looks right too, you know? And then if we did this, I mean, does this not at least feel wrong? I think that's the biggest thing. For going my expectations, that higher expectations of Ramaswamy too, Vivek, yeah. He still did what I thought he would do, though. He had too many moments. Yeah. He just didn't he was just kind of disappearing in the second half. And he went very, quote unquote, anti-woke. You know what I mean? he's definitely going to rile up like the culture war people. Pence just felt like the more classic politician. His experience showed. I think this is settled. I feel like this just feels the most right we're going to get it. He lost one argument to Pence, and then, like, if Pence, that might be the deal. That might be the way we can go back and forth, too. A tiebreaker, right? Let's do Pence. If we had a runner-up award, it would be Ramaswamy, easily. Christie would be runner-up for this one. Biggest loser. And Ramaswamy still gets award for being saying the most crazy statement, which I think is either his closing statement or that one with the nuclear burn and frack or whatever the fuck he said. He said it. He just delivered it in such a crazy way too. He just knocked it out of the park. It was a home run for him. But yeah, I feel like this is good for the first primary debates. So they said the next one I think is September 27th is what I think they said. I wish I remember the exact moments when some of these quotes were. I'm sure they'll pop up on Twitter at some point. Yeah, so when's the next one? I think I saw September 27th, which is another Wednesday. And I hope Trump shows the next one. I don't know if he will though. I mean, he can't go on Tucker Carlson every time. September 27th in California at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Institute. The moderators in the next debate have not been set. It'll be on Rumble, dude. If we have to watch it on fucking Rumble, I'm gonna fucking die. Ugh. But we gotta do what we gotta do, you know? And then, yeah, I think we'll watch this. This looks, it actually, based off this trailer.
You're saying they stole it from you last time. Why wouldn't they do the same this time?
Oh, well, they'll try. They're going to be trying. Mitch McConnell was trying to...
This is going to be good, I think. I hope, at least the trailer speaks the hype.
Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate.
Why is it glitching out? Fucking Twitter.
Started with protests against you, then it moved to impeachment twice.
Right.
And now indictment. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you? Honestly.
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict?
I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
What is this?
We're doing this interview, but we'll get...
David, check it out. You know, I trust Ryro. Let me check it out. Who's getting the most speaking time? Pence, Ramaswamy, Christie, DeSantis, Haley, Scott, Burgum, Hutchinson. Yeah, I would not have guessed this. I thought DeSantis would be leading. Because he usually goes by the front runners, right? Christie got a lot more time, too, than I thought he would. The two 1%ers at the bottom, yeah. No pun intended towards Burgum. Yeah, that's interesting. That is definitely interesting. I guess they're letting Pence speak, which I think is good. Huh. Maybe that helps Pence for his award, you know? But yeah, I'll fix this up and probably post it on my Twitter and Instagram. I think this will be a fun little thing we do I think there's one every month up until I think it ends, right? But yeah, well, I don't think I'm doing anything this Friday. If I don't record tomorrow for Sonic Movie Show, maybe I'll stream this tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. This is my way of also telling you to follow if you're not following. You know, turn the notifications on. If you're in my Discord, I'll try to write it in there ahead of time as well. You know. But no, it's been a fun stream, y'all. I love these streams. I love these kind of streams where it's watching something live. We're shooting the shit in chat. Hopefully we learn something. Learning that, you know, that if one of these folks, you know, let's say it's Ramaswamy who somehow becomes the nominee, that we can at least be like, we always knew this guy was crazy, you know? At least we'll be more informed, right? But yeah, award winners are, for debate winner is Mike Pence. Ron DeSantis gets debate biggest loser. And most crazy statement goes to Vivek Ramaswamy. Who knows? He might be the VP, and then that'd literally be a successor in a kind of hierarchical way. All right, y'all, though. That's going to be it for me.